Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday, guys. You made it. Good folks of the algorithm. How are you doing? I hope your Friday is going well. Mine's been kind of busy, but it is what it is. We got horrible weather today. I knew the rain was coming and the rain came. It is what it is. And I shout out to you guys. Shout out to you. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Thank you for being the first one to stop by. Truly appreciate you, dear. Truly appreciate you. So, guys, I do have 3 cases for you today. Hopefully, we can get through all of them because I do have some other things that I need to do. But I definitely wanted to come in and actually go through the cases today. I said I was going to do a members live stream yesterday. However, that plan had to get scrapped, and I thought I would have some more time to come and actually do it, but I don't. So it's been really busy, guys. I had to wash my hair. I had to wash my hair today. I had to do a whole lot of stuff. Ain't no makeup going on today either. So, this is me. Okay. This is all the way me. But I do hope that you definitely enjoy the actual cases that I have for you today. So let's get started. The first case that I wanted to go over is about a surfer. A surfer stumbled on a crazy type of murder scene, and I think it might have to do with a young adult involved in this, and I wanted to review this because I have never seen it before. So when you're coming in, if you're just coming in to just say hi or whatever, hit the like button for me. Truly appreciate it. Helps the channel. Share it out to anyone who might be interested in this type of content. And if you do have any other cases that you would like me to review, go ahead and write it in the comment section, and I'll put it on my little trusty little notebook, and I will get information on it and we can review it together. Okay. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys. All right. Share my screen, and here we go.
Whoa, let's go. Let's go, man.
He's not breathing. Please, somebody do it.
The man you are looking at is undoubtedly having one of the craziest days of his life. After catching some waves at the local Foley beach, he headed uptown to grab a drink, but suddenly stumbled upon a traumatizing scene. The aftermath of a barbaric attack that was caught entirely on video. Just minutes earlier, at 7:40 p.m., on-duty police officers at a nearby community center suddenly heard multiple gunshots ring out.
Shots fired.
As they sprinted to their vehicles, multiple 911 calls poured in to report a shooting that had taken place just miles away. The officers sped through the streets, actively receiving updates from dispatch as they rushed towards the scene. 4 minutes after hearing the gunshots ring out, the officers arrived. A crowd of bystanders had gathered around, including the victim's horrified girlfriend.
Get him off the step.
The man from the beginning of this video had already begun doing chest compressions while waiting for emergency services to arrive.
Hey, we're gonna need to move these cars, get the medic in.
The victim was 41-year-old Timothy Hammond Jr. His girlfriend, 29-year-old Christina Cologne, also jumped in to help by giving him rescue breaths. Tim continues to cling to life, but this isn't the only priority for the first responders. A killer is still at large. Paramedics finally arrive, at which point the officers direct someone else to take Christina's place so they can question her about the incident.
Ma'am, I need you to help me get as much information as we can so we get these guys, okay? What did you see?
Oh, they're moving stuff in here. My daughter's in there.
She tells the officer that a group of men had attacked him, but her panic state makes it difficult to get any more information from her. She is determined to check on their 5-year-old daughter, Isabella, before answering any more questions.
My daughter's up there. I'm watching. I need to make sure they're not watching. I know.
After escorting her to check on Isabella, the officers promptly continue questioning Christina.
Give me some more information about that party that you saw with the gun. Back up. Sit down here on the step. What else can you tell me about that party with the gun?
Apparently, Tim was helping her move into a new residence. While unpacking some boxes inside the
Bruce,
home,
how
she heard
are
a
you
commotion
this
coming
Friday?
from
Hope
outside.
everything's
She
going
rushed out
well.
to
Good
find
to
Tim
see
being
you.
jumped. The altercation ended rather quickly, but suddenly one of the men pulled out a gun. And as Tim attempted to retreat into the house, he was shot several times.
We can.
He basically said, "Move, I'll get you," and then shot the gun. What the kind of people is this?
Hey, Ronnie Ron, good to see you.
Tim was
Happy
put on a stretcher
Friday.
and loaded into the back of an ambulance. His condition was critical. He needed surgery immediately. However, after being transported to the hospital, he succumbed to his gunshot wounds. At 8:13 p.m., 33 minutes after he was shot, Tim was pronounced dead. Officers at the crime scene were informed and were given the difficult task of delivering the tragic news to Christina.
Going back inside the residence, outbound investigator with the victim's girlfriend has found out. Boyfriend is passed away.
Is he dead? He can't be dead. He just moved here for a daughter. Oh my God.
As heart-wrenching as Tim's death was, investigators had to keep moving forward if they wanted any kind of justice for Tim.
I'm standing on the corner of Hanover and Columbus Street. Again, a heavy police presence behind me. As you can see, police are blocking off this portion of the road with crime scene tape. It seems like it will be blocked off for a while. We know that police responded to a shooting and an adult male was transported to MUSC where he later died. Charleston police have been on the scene since then. I spoke to a veteran who was at a nearby bar. He said he came out to take a phone call and saw the man laying on the side of the road. He said he never expected something like this to happen right here.
While the evidence was being processed, investigators began canvassing the surrounding area. When speaking with the neighbors, someone brought forward a cell phone video that captured the exact moment Tim was shot. In the video, you can see that the shooter is a black male wearing a black shirt, dark-colored pants, and some sort of hat. But it's hard to distinguish any more details than that. The detectives wondered if anyone else had footage of this incident. So they asked around the neighborhood and discovered several surveillance cameras that had captured everything. Just before 7:40 p.m., the shooter is seen riding his bike down Hanover Street. As he rides past Tim, who is unloading the U-Haul, the two start shouting at each other, but the audio doesn't quite pick up what they are saying. The shooter makes a U-turn and approaches Tim. The situation quickly escalates into a fist fight and then into a full-on brawl. Tim versus 4 other men. Just as Christina had described, the fight is broken up. However, the suspect then slaps Christina in the face, and she loses it. The energy continues to escalate as Christina screams at the men. That's when the shooter pulls out his handgun, aims it at Tim, and shoots him 5 times. The shooter then hops on his bike and rides away in the same direction he came from. He turns off of Hanover Street onto Line Street, but as he heads towards Aiken Street, the trail of video...
So Bruce says he's got on white dress shoes. I don't know what kind, but Sammy Davis Jr. wore those. Oh, well, that's interesting information. I mean, if anything, I think Sammy Davis Jr. wore like loafers, I think he had on a pair of loafers. But just to get back to what is happening, it seems like this altercation spiraled out of control. And there was a group of young men who was riding bikes back and forth, probably became a little bit of an irritant to this guy who's moving in, because obviously if this is just him moving in to this neighborhood to be with his girlfriend and her daughter, then these guys don't know him. So there's no past history whatsoever. It just seems like it was just a argument, that spiraled out of control into a actual brawl, and then which led to one of these individuals, I guess the one that they showed on the camera, pulling out a gun and taking this guy's life. And it's unfortunate, right? Because that should not have happened. I don't like when people lose their lives. And yes, it's bad that we're in an era where you can't just have a fist fight anymore and, go lick your wounds at home, right? That doesn't happen anymore. It's now everyone is quick to unalive someone for almost the most littlest or insignificant thing, right? it's just the gist of how where our society is that's just really how much I can really explain it, because outside of that I don't outside of that I don't really even see what was the real reason. I mean, if you had a problem with them I guess coming around while you're moving your stuff, I get it. It can be, a very, aggravating and stuff like that. But then again, you can't really ride a bicycle on the sidewalk either. They have to ride it in the street. I think that maybe that individual or the group of individuals was probably going around numerous of times, and he's pulling out heavy furniture, probably a heavy bed or something like that, and he was probably afraid that he might break his furniture or might hit them in the process, because if they're doing tricks and stuff on their bikes, like popping a wheelie and stuff like that, it's all really unfortunate, because I just see the situation should never have gotten to the point where this man lost his life. It should have been diffused. And it just, the proper steps wasn't take for it to be diffused. So it's a very sad situation all around. But let's go on.
Surveillance ends there. Unfortunately, even with all of this new footage, the investigators were struggling to identify the suspect. The quality of the recordings just wasn't good enough. However, they were able to determine several specific features of the shooter's outfit. He was wearing a leather-style cap with a gold emblem on the front, possibly a Louis Vuitton logo. Based on the logo on his chest and several smaller logos all over the shirt, it seemed that he was wearing a black Fendi Fila collab t-shirt. He was also wearing two-tone jeans with 3 distinctive rips on the left thigh, and a pair of blue shoes with a white sole. The identity of the suspect was being revealed
Loafers
one
are
puzzle piece at a time.
common,
But as far as
right? Like,
tracking
it's a
him
good
down
dress
goes,
shoe.
the
A lot of
detectives were
people wear it.
still at a dead end. They had no way of determining where the suspect went following the shooting. However, they could still try to determine where the suspect was before the shooting. They reversed the footage and tracked the suspect just down the street to Knight's Quick Stop. The suspect can be seen riding his bike out front before heading inside, at which point his outfit and face is much easier to make out. The investigators take screenshots of this footage and distribute them to law enforcement all around Charleston. Not long after, the police department received a call from a probation officer who believed he had once supervised the man in the picture. The detectives searched their internal database and social media for the name the probation officer provided and immediately struck gold. This is 18-year-old Shannon Johnson. Shannon loves to share photos of guns, money, and designer clothes, especially his Louis Vuitton cap. One picture in particular caught the detectives' attention. This one. It appeared that Shannon had sent this to someone on the same evening as the murder, and that person posted it to their Facebook page and tagged him. Detectives were certain that this was their shooter. The question was, where was he now? One of the photos on his Facebook page showed him standing in front of an apartment complex. A detective assigned to the case knew exactly.
Now, I always say, right? This is why you need to be mindful what you do. First of all, you shouldn't be out there doing any type of crime. Let's just keep it 100, right? Don't go out there and commit crimes, okay? It's not cool. And a lot of these people don't seem like they're really built for the consequences of the crimes that they actually get. But you have to also be very mindful what you do on your social media platforms, right? Because if it's any type of situation like this, they are going to go and investigate your social media platforms, as well as how many numbers you have, whatever phone you have, as well as going to sort out your loved ones, friends, as well as going to inspect everybody that was around the situation. Like, all of that is going to happen, right? And then, even though in this particular situation, right? In this type of situation, it's just like, you are out there on social media, you have guns, you acting like you some thug and all this crazy stuff like that, right? You want to act like this and act all tough and stuff like that. And in a situation where it's like a crime, as in unaliving or even a robbery and stuff like that, it doesn't look good. It's not to say that just because you're holding a weapon and you have a picture of you holding a weapon, doesn't necessarily make you a criminal, right? It don't. But if you're putting up posts and stuff where you're holding guns and all the stuff like that, and you're in the certain language that you use on your posts on social media is making you or making anybody who don't know you believe that you are part of that particular type of lifestyle, when you get caught in a situation like this, how is anybody supposed to believe anything different outside of what you was trying to portray, especially on your social media? It doesn't help you, and it literally gets you caught up all the time. Now, mind you, if he did it and it seemed like he did it because it seemed like he wore the same damn outfit, that he decided that he wanted to post on his social media to act like he's big man on campus, is the same outfit that he was caught in this incident where someone lost his life. He cannot say that he was not there. It's literally clear as day. They got you on every different type of camera. They got you on other people's cell phones who was able to videotape it and stuff like that. You cannot even say that you was there. Now, mind you, they have to confirm whether or not if you was actually the shooter, but you were there. You was there at the time when the incident occurred. It's just sometimes I just really don't understand these young people, or I don't understand why they don't get that if y'all enjoy the technology life so much, then don't you think that it can also work against you at the same time? Because a lot of them like to get exposure. A lot of them want to act like they're all important and celebrities. That's the thing now today, right? Anybody can be a celebrity. Anybody can be an influencer. Anybody can be someone that, motivates someone, right? Inspirational. And that also has a double-sided coin to that, right? There is responsibility with that. And I don't think a lot of people take it seriously. I don't think they take it seriously at all. Hey, young Riaz, it's good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, let's go on. Let's see when they bring him in, or if they find him, what he has to say for himself.
Exactly where this was, as he had responded to incidents there in the past. So law enforcement jumped in their police cruisers and rushed to the apartment complex. As the officers arrive at the complex, they immediately spot Shannon standing outside. But Shannon spots them too and takes off running. The officers chase him down, and just when they think he's cornered, he hops a fence into a cemetery. But at this point, the cemetery is surrounded. With nowhere to go, Shannon surrenders. After escorting him to the back of a police cruiser, he was then transported to the police station for questioning.
Sorry about that.
Hey, man.
So, what do you know about the shooting? Do you know what happened?
Shannon claims that he doesn't know anything about the shooting. However, he was in the general area, but stayed inside his car.
So just so I understand what we talked about for your day, you were there in a car, but only passing through. You were never out on foot that day.
No.
You were never out on foot.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I was out on foot going in the store, like.
Yeah, on King Street.
Mm.
But the east side, you were never out there that day on foot. And you remember that day. Yeah, like you said, you don't forget anything.
The person that was involved in the shooting, that person was killed.
All right, no, yeah, I knew that.
That's what I'm asking you.
No, yeah, I knew that.
Killed, like a person in your life.
And I saw that on Facebook.
Have you heard any kind of rumblings on Facebook about anybody that might have something to do with it or saw anything?
No.
No. What can we do? What can we do to confirm your whereabouts that day?
At this moment, Shannon realizes that he is a person of interest in the murder and immediately becomes defensive.
Man, listen. I got alibis.
How are you helping yourself by not telling us your alibis?
How you mean how am I helping myself?
You said you got alibis. You haven't told us an alibi.
I got alibis, but I ain't gonna need them. Cause this shit shouldn't even must come across me. Why would he must do some dumb shit right there and cameras on the fucking store right there? This shit shouldn't even must come across me. I ain't no dummy, and I ain't no slow leak. This shit shouldn't even must come across me. For real. I don't know why they call him my name.
Shannon seems to be forgetting that about 20 minutes earlier, he spotted the police and immediately took off running. He knew full well why they were there, and
yeah, see, that doesn't even make any sense. I mean, like, I understand, like, there is tension, and I know that certain people get anxiety and stuff like that when police come and approach you and stuff like that. I get all that. But the way that you took off foot as in, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? I'm caught up and I actually have to get out of Dodge, right? And to go back to what the detective was saying to him, if you have alibis to that confirm your whereabouts and what you did, why won't you give their name? You don't want to give their name because you said that you are being a slow leak, or snitches get stitches, whatever, right? That's the case, right? But if you have alibis, the whole point of saying the word "I have an alibi" is that you are okay to enlist this person to confirm where you were and that you had nothing to do with this particular incident, right? That's the whole point about saying you have a alibi. Just saying the word doesn't do anything for you, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to help you. And if that's the case, why even speak to them at this point? You should just go get a lawyer. Don't speak to them. They already, they have you detained. They already arrested you. You ran from them. Go get a lawyer. You don't have to speak to them. But you're sitting up here and you think that being, I guess, a little bit combative and not, working with them, you think that that's helping you, but it's really not helping you, right? It's not helping you because it's making it seem like you're trying to hold something. You're still more concerned about who might hear heard of you saying this or that or whatever not. And you really think that by having this type of, I don't know what we want to call it. I don't want to necessarily call it machismo, but yeah, in a way, right? By having this type of way about when you're answering the questions, you think that is actually helping you, and it's not. It's not helping you. It's making you look even more guilty. Because there could be a possibility that you was just at the store and you were there, like they could see you on the camera and you was at the store, you saw the whole incident happen, but you wasn't the one who pulled the trigger, right? That could be a possibility. But you're not making yourself look like that's the possibility. You're making yourself look like you had more involvement than just being in the area when the situation occurred. So I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. Why do they never stay silent and ask for lawyers? I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever. I really don't. Thank you so much, Riaz. I truly appreciate you. Why answer even one question? Yeah, exactly. It's his own fault for not shutting down. Yeah, I just don't understand. They're really like, it's like people got I don't know, it seemed like they are allergic to lawyers. And I don't know if they're allergic to lawyers because they're thinking about how much money that you have to pay for a lawyer. And I know there's a stigma about public offenders. I totally get it. But even a public defender is better than thinking that can you can basically express yourself properly where you get the point across for the detectives where they're not able to pick and dissect what you say to use as evidence against you. But then again, it's also about going into the situation thinking that one, either these people are going to do something for you in your benefit and that they're not just here for to find the truth. These people don't care who you are. They're here to find the truth. They don't care about anything. They're only here to get the truth and to get the evidence. That's all their job is set up to do. Find out what happened, get as much evidence, and or even get a confession, and then push that on to the prosecutor, push that on to the state, and have them decide whether or not, if this is enough evidence that they can convict you on something. That is their job. That is their job. And the simple fact that he's 18 years old and he really thinks that he know everything and he don't know a damn thing. Let's go on.
And running from the cops didn't make him look any more innocent. Just in case Shannon truly doesn't know why he's a person of interest, the detectives revealed the store surveillance footage.
These are photos of you here?
This old.
This is you, right?
Yeah.
This is your hat, right?
All right, yeah. I had a hat like this, but it's not me.
It's not?
It's not me. That's not even much me in this picture. So what y'all talking about?
This isn't you right here?
No, that ain't me. On my dad uncle, on my dad whole family, whoever fucking dead. I telling you, I sell a hat for $200. I telling you. That's not me. This don't even much look like me, bruh. This do not even much look like me. But no. Hell no. We ain't playing like that.
Whatever you say, Shannon. Since Shannon continued to be cryptic about his so-called alibis, the detectives continued to pressure him for more information. Clearly, this offends him.
You want an alibi, or you want an alibi? Cause y'all ain't trying to help me.
Shannon.
So do you want an alibi or what?
Shannon, sit down. That's not how I behave in here.
Man, I ain't can't.
Let's just talk.
Y'all got me heated.
You're not intimidating.
You ain't gotta be intimidated.
We just need to talk.
You talking about
Simple questions, okay?
Man, bro.
Very simple questions.
Shannon eventually gets tired of yelling at the detectives. He admits that the person in the footage is him.
What am I supposed to do? You lied to me about having a car for what reason? When I know you came on a bike.
Yeah, all right.
Right?
You're not showing me nothing.
What's the point?
You acting like you showing me a whole damn travel line of white, innit? You not showing me no. You can't say that lying about a car. Cause you ain't never see what all I done did that. Like, what you talking about? Like,
why I have all this video and I never see you never in a car? Where'd you park the car then? Where's the car? Tell me and I'll go find it. I'm happy to go find it. But you can't, because there was no car.
You right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we can have an open line of communication here instead of beating around the bush about this car that never existed. Let's start over.
Now that Shannon is opening up, they get straight to the point.
I want you to tell me why you shot the man.
I ain't shoot that man.
You shot the man.
Man, I ain't shoot that man. I ain't kill that man, bruh.
Listen.
I tell you, I ain't did none of that, bruh. I did not shoot that man. I don't have no gun. I did not shoot this man.
That person that you just said is you, riding around on that bike outside of nights, we have video of you as you travel all the way down Hanover, rapping or singing or whatever you're doing, shouting. We get video of you passing by the victim on your way south on Hanover to Columbus. You swing your bike around, come right up on the sidewalk, you get right up in this man's face. You start fighting, you start losing the fight, and then you shoot him.
After the detectives give a perfect description of Shannon's movements that day, Shannon realizes just how screwed he is. He admits defeat and explains how the incident with Tim played out.
I was minding my business. I look at him. I saw his mouth, like going, like saying something. So I turned, I swing the bike around. And I be like, huh, what's up? And he be like, what's up? Like, what's up? Like, so I like, what's up? And then he swung on me first.
Shannon says that he didn't want to fight and mostly tried to dodge Tim's attacks. But once Tim put him in a headlock, he began to fear for his life.
Yeah, I mean a headlock. So when I in a headlock, I can't breathe. Like I realize choking, can't breathe. So I thinking in my head like, this dude trying to kill me.
Even though Shannon just provided the detectives with a clear motive for shooting Tim, he insists that it was actually one of his friends who was the shooter.
You shot.
No, I did not. Man, I still standing by. I did not kill him.
So this is why I always preached you need a lawyer. And even when you're a young pup like this one, you need a lawyer. Because I saw the video. In the video, the guy says something to you. You rolled by in a bike. You turned around. You went back, to hear what he said, whatever not. Y'all started screaming at each other, and then a fight broke out, right? But the clear, simple fact is that you decided to escalate the situation to unalive him. It was at one point when the girlfriend came out and she tried to break you guys up, all you guys who try to be in this brawl and stuff like that, and you did not leave at this point. And then on top of that, the way how the man was shot, he was literally walking back into his house. So that means he was done with fighting with you. And he was ready to go back into his house, calm down, go get something to drink, or finish moving his stuff in. You took it to a step further. You cannot use self-defense at this point, right? Because this is what he's trying to tell the detectives, that everything that he did was self-defense. Even though he's still trying to deny that he was the actual shooter, they already have saw that he was the only one that was holding an object in the actual recording that looked like he was pointing it at said individual, right? Nobody else had an object. It was only showing that this person wearing a Fendi sweater and a Louis Vuitton hat was actually pointing a object at someone. And so far, the guy who lost his life, he suffered from gunshot wounds, right? He doesn't understand that they have that evidence. So this is why he's still trying to plead that it wasn't him that actually shot someone. But you already let them know that this man, this man says something crazy to you, whatever, he says something to you, you came back, y'all screaming at each other, he put his arm around you, you had already let them know that you had some type of, altercation with this guy going forward before the actual gunshot. So yes, it does give more motive or intent why you probably took out the gun and want to unalive him, because you were just arguing and fighting with the guy. But there is a clear definition when it comes down to self-defense. And in this case, this was not self-defense. This was not self-defense, so he cannot use this guy. Yeah, he did shoot him in the back. Yes. He shot the guy in the back when the guy started walking up the stairs after the commotion was supposed to be over. So it's not self-defense. That is not self-defense. It's not going to fly. Because at that point, when even if he had you in a headlock, you want to go call the police, say this man assaulted you, you got 100% right to do that, right? But once he let you go from the headlock and you turn and he's walking away, you turning around and putting a gun and shooting him in his back, that's not self-defense. It's not self-defense, and you can't use that. You can't use it at all. This dude that the dude that like 2 years later his girlfriend also got. Yeah. Let's go on.
I did not kill this man.
Shannon was steadfast that somebody else pulled the trigger. However, he repeatedly says things that make it sound like he was the one who killed Tim.
Man,
This is a
listen,
very
I feel
serious
sorry
matter.
for that man.
A man
and his-
lost his
I
life.
feel sorry for that man and his family. But I should not feel sorry for him. I shouldn't feel sorry for him. This man put his hands on me. This man swing on me first. This man tried to kill me first.
First before what?
Before his ass get killed from somebody. This man swing on me, bruh. This man he tried to kill me.
Does that mean
he tried to kill me? He tried to kill me. What you gonna do if somebody try to kill you? What you been gonna do? You been gonna shoot him in it?
That's not what happened here.
But you would have did that. I know you would have did that.
Before wrapping things up, the detectives decided to show Shannon the footage of the shooting with the hopes that it would provoke a more accurate confession.
See, bro, that's that crazy shit, man. Take me, man. I'm ready to go.
Still denying it's you?
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go.
I just wanted to make sure you knew we're not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes here, okay?
Man, y'all got murder on here.
Yeah.
No self-defense, no nothing. I'm ready to go, man.
After his temper tantrum, Shannon is left in the room by himself while officers prepare to take him to his cell. While he waits, he starts singing Got You by Mobile, Alabama rapper OMB Peasy.
And one time for the real, and 2 times for the thugs, and 3 times for my new pistol. I saw that bitch and fell in love.
Shannon was charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. He was locked up at the Al Cannon Detention Center and waived his right to a bond hearing. On August 11, 2019, 3 days after Tim's death, a vigil was held in his honor.
Candles and songs filled Hanover Street downtown tonight It's a far cry from the sirens and lights covering the area just 3 days ago after 41-year-old Timothy Hammond Jr. was shot right outside of his home. He leaves behind a 5-year-old daughter.
We need to act, and if this isn't a call to action, I don't know what is. It never gets easier.
Those in the neighborhood came out for a vigil in honor of Hammond. They want his death to spark change in ending violent crime.
Because we're tired of the violence, senseless violence, and we want change in our neighborhood. We need to come together as a neighborhood and find solutions, positive solutions.
We're just not going to take this anymore. Why is someone at 7 o'clock at night on a bike with a gun shooting people on our streets? That's unacceptable. We need to do better.
As you can see, this murder was the last straw for many when it came to violent crime in Charleston. In response to the public's demand for change, the city held a public meeting to discuss gun violence and gun safety.
Now, Mayor John Tecklenburg has teamed up with local residents to come up with this meeting and talk about initiatives and ways to help improve the community and take a stand against violence.
As for Tim's family, the community banded together to help them through this difficult time. His workplace, the Darling Oyster, where he was a sous chef, held a dinner service fundraiser where 100% of the proceeds were given to his daughter, Isabella. Not only that, but a Facebook event called Timo's Daughter was created and raised over $12,000 for Isabella as well. Leading up to Shannon's trial, he was offered several plea deals, but he declined them all. So in December of 2022, his trial began. Part of the defense's strategy was to stand behind Shannon's claim that he was afraid for his life and killed Tim in the heat of the moment. They hoped that this would get his charge reduced from murder to voluntary manslaughter, which carried a lesser sentence. But the prosecution simply pointed to
So he didn't really. He's a stubborn fellow, right? He should have took a plea deal, right? That's what he should have did. He should have took a plea deal and probably would have got maybe 16 years, right? And probation for the remaining of the 5 or so. He should have did that because he knows as well as anybody else know that you did shoot this guy. Right? It wasn't your friends. It wasn't anybody else who joined into the brawl. You shot the guy. You know why you shot the guy. And you also shot the guy in the back, right? But he tried to lead with this being self-defense. And I get it, but this is not self-defense. I got to call it out. It's not self-defense, bro. It's not. It really ain't. Hey, how you doing, Lord? Good to see you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, Lana, how are you, dear? I hope you're having a good Friday. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend with your lovely ladies and, Mama Bear, Wifey Bear, everybody getting all the gifts and stuff for Mother's Day. I hope you have a great weekend, sir. Great weekend. Let's see. Yes, please just make sure you're hitting the like button for me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, I have to call it out. That's not self-defense. That's not self-defense. Once he, like I said, you're in a brawl. He has you in a headlock. Mind you, if he has you in a headlock and let's say you grab something while he was in the headlock and let's say you hit him over the head or something like that, then yeah, that would be self-defense. But once he let you go, and he start walking away, going to his house, that's not self-defense. Shooting his man behind in his back while he's walking up the stairs, that's not self-defense. And I'm surprised that his defense team did not tell him that. I'm sure they looked at this video and saw the video just like I saw the video to know that it was not a self-defense claim. But it seemed like this young man is very hard-headed and he doesn't want to listen. And they went along with it knowing that it wasn't going to stick. But what can you do, right? You could only give advice. And if your client don't take it, and this is not to say that every legal advice is the best advice for you, right? Because we've seen those cases when it's not, right? When the legal team didn't know what the hell they were doing, or they did the bare minimum and they didn't help you whatsoever. But in this situation, they was trying to hey, listen, if you take this plea deal, you'll be out. You'll be at least 20 almost close to 30 years old, but you could still pick up your life from there and go the proper trajectory. But now if they get you with this second degree murder charge, you could be facing 25 or how many years, and then your life can really be done. Like, but he didn't take it. He wanted to be stubborn. But like I said, this was a win for the prosecutors, because off the bat, they know once the guy lets you go and he's not coming at you in a aggressive force, like he's really trying to harm you. Once he turned his back away from you and going up the stairs, it was no longer a self-defense situation. You at that point shooting this man in the back, you were the aggressor. It's not going to stick. It's not going to stick. It's crazy. Not going to stick at all. Hey, David, we're reviewing a pretty much a case in reference of a young man shooting a man that he had a brawl with in his back, and he's trying to say that it was self-defense, but in this case, it wasn't. Good to see you. Oren, how you doing? She said, oh, she was talking to Bruce. Okay, I don't want to, put your conversation out there, but good to see you, Oren. Hi, Miss Jalen. How are you doing? Good to see you, ma'am. Good to see you. I appreciate you. All right, let's finish. Let's see what else he has to say and how this plays out.
To the 34 seconds between when the fight broke up and when the trigger was pulled. They insisted that Shannon had maliciously and deliberately killed Tim. After a 4-day trial, both sides rested their case.
Now, it was an emotional day for those who knew Hammond in the courtroom. I spoke to some family and friends who even came in from out of town to be here. They're hoping to get answers tomorrow as the jury begins deliberating.
The jury had reached a verdict after only 2 hours of deliberation.
Thank you.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant Shannon Lamont Zaquan Johnson on the charge of murder guilty.
Before Shannon's sentencing, Tim's loved ones poured their hearts out during their impact statements.
August 8, 2019 was probably one of the worst days of my life, and I didn't even know when I woke up. I can vividly recall my other sister calling me, crying me in tears and agony, screaming, Tim's gone, Tim's gone. And I go, Tim's gone. I just suddenly collapsed, and I just yelled, this can't be true.
And the whole time I've been sitting here, I wanted to be angry and upset with you. If T was here, I'd probably forgive you. Probably tell you that you can change your life and it's not too late. My family should know that. I forgive you. I do. I'm not going to hold that hate in my heart for you. Honestly, you don't deserve that space.
Shannon Johnson was sentenced to 50 years in prison for the murder of Timothy Hammond Jr. Tim's family was overjoyed to finally get justice.
I'm so happy. That means that we got justice for my son. He didn't deserve what happens. And as sad as it is to think that somebody's going to spend the next 50 years locked up, your actions have consequences. You got what he deserved.
Tragically, Christina was not able to share that joy because 1 year before Shannon's trial, on November 4th, 2021, this happened.
We've got breaking news out of North Charleston where 2 people have been arrested in connection with what North Charleston police call a deadly road rage shooting. Officers say Parker Gore shot into Austin Faltermeyer's vehicle, killing a woman passenger. They say it began on I-26 when Gore saw Faltermeyer crash into a car. Gore took off after him. Police say the 2 then crashed into each other, then got off of the interstate onto East Montague Avenue. Officers say that's when Faltermeyer crashed into Gore again, and Gore started shooting. A woman inside Faltermeyer's car was killed. A child was also in the car. Gore is charged with manslaughter, while Faltermeyer is charged with assault and battery.
Some breaking news to tell you about out of Charleston County. We've just learned the name of the person who police say was shot and killed in a road rage shooting in North Charleston yesterday. The Charleston County coroner has identified her as 32-year-old Christina Colon.
5 shots were fired from Parker Gore's gun, hitting Christina in the neck and shoulder. When first responders arrived, it was too late. Christina had bled out. In the back seat, they found Isabella. The driver, Austin Faltermeyer, was heavily intoxicated. During their bond hearing, Parker and Austin were berated by Christina's father, Ed Cologne, who seemed more dumbfounded at their stupidity than sad.
If you would have stopped, and the 7-year-old told me they would tell him to stop, and he kept drinking, kept doing shots. He was asked to stop by a 7-year-old who saw her father murdered 2 years ago. And to shoot my daughter, no less. Why wouldn't you shoot the driver? Why wouldn't you shoot the driver? She's a woman. Behind the windows were closed. You weren't involved to begin with. And you shot my daughter through a window, a closed window.
Parker's defense team claimed that he was merely acting in self-defense and blamed Austin for Christina's death.
But we take the position that he was lawfully defending himself from a weapon being a moving vehicle.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, okay? Like this is a double whammy to me because her child's father died 2 years from a shooting, and then she gets caught in a shooting and lose her life. And like, where's the sympathy for this poor child, this poor daughter? You lose both your parents within a 3-year time span. Like, that is ridiculous. Like that is insane. That poor baby girl. Like, what in the world? Like, that is insane to me. And then for them to sit up here, and I know the defense attorney, they have to do their job, right? And it doesn't matter whether or not if their client is actually innocent or guilty, they have to defend their client. That is what they're getting paid the big bucks for, right? But you cannot say that this is self-defense. And on top of that, if you're having an altercation with the man who's driving, why would you shoot the passenger window when you know that he's there with with people in the car? Why wouldn't you shoot the driver's window and actually shoot the person that you're having an altercation with, right? Even with that, like, I mean, I'm not trying to say that, go out there and go guns glory and stuff like that. But if you really wanted to say it was self-defense and you shot, the shot should have happened from the driver's side, not the passenger side. You deliberately shot from the passenger side because, number one, you knew that the passenger probably didn't have a weapon with you, and you wanted to inflict more harm on the person that you was fighting with by hurting their loved ones. And I hope that that's what the prosecutor brings that up. You know what I'm saying? Because it was deliberate why you shot from the passenger side. You knew that you didn't have it wasn't a threat because most likely that lady didn't have a weapon. And on top of that, you wanted to inflict emotional harm from the person that you was having that altercation with. But nonetheless, this whole thing is so sad, and I just feel really bad for that young girl. Like, that's ridiculous. She lost her father 2 years prior from a goofy teen who don't know how to lick his wounds and go run and go walk away. And then now to lose her mother, who didn't have anything to do with the altercation, just to sit in there as a passenger and someone take her life. That's just crazy. It really can. It's just really, it's just really sad, man. It really hurts my head sometimes. It really, really does. Let's see. Riding like, okay, you're speaking to Arwen. Moha says, how can a lawyer defend such people? That's what defense lawyer do, right? Defense lawyers get paid the big bucks because they usually take on the cases or they take on the clients that are very controversial that nobody wants to give a fighting chance for. And especially if they have a lot of resources that will help that law firm, of course they're going to take it. They can't turn it down because that's exactly how they make their money. It's different with lawyers who are pro bono, right? Because we have pro bono. Yeah, they make money, but they don't make nothing compared as the most highly successful defense attorneys, right? Pro bono, they usually make average salary, maybe $84,000. Some make a $90,000. Some make $56,000, depending on what state you're in, right? And they also have the ability too to take on the certain cases that they want to take that they want to take on, right? Because they'll do it for, listen, I want to take on cases that matter to me, that's more important to me, environmental situation, social program situation, things of that sort. But as a defense attorney, you really do it for the money. They're not really out there to do it for, like, moral fiber or, character wise. That's not what they're here for. No. It's not. And that's the one reason why I didn't even go to law school. That's the one reason I didn't go to law school, because once I found out that lawyers would have to lie, or lawyers would have to defend people that they know inherently are wrong and did the crime, but because they had to do it to get paid, that turned me off at the age of 9 years old for me becoming a lawyer, because that's what I really initially wanted to do, was be a lawyer. But I couldn't do it, because I'm not going to sit around and me personally, I'm not going to sit around and defend a killer. I might do you in myself. That's how I feel. I might take you out myself. I'm not going to sit around and defend no lawyer. Ain't no damn way. I don't know. I'm not built for that. I'm not built for that. Absolutely not. Oh. Yeah, it is sad news. It really is. It really is.
Following the incident, Christina's family started a GoFundMe to support Isabella's future, which raised over $8,000. Parker's charges were ultimately dropped. His actions were deemed as self-defense because the other driver was using his car as a weapon. Austin Faltermeyer's charges are still pending. As for Shannon Johnson, he is appealing his conviction. He currently resides at the Lieber Correctional Institution in Ridgeville, South Carolina. He has a track record of 3 major disciplinary sanctions a year for the past 3 years, for things like possession of a weapon, possession of escape tools, and according to his record, committing unspecified felonies. He is projected to be released from prison in the year 2069. With both of Isabella's parents gone, she was adopted by her grandfather, Ed. She loves puzzles, Lego, and making art, including Mother's Day gifts for Christina. According to Ed, she is a mini-me version of her mom in every way.
That was a very sad case. It really was sad news. I did not know that the mother ended up losing her life in a vicious way of shooting too, but they gave that guy self-defense. They cleared that guy for self-defense because her boyfriend or whoever new guy that she was with was using the vehicle as a weapon. But it's still, I don't know, to me, is if the shots are coming from the passenger side and not the driver's side, like, what is the passenger going to do? Like, the passenger is not in control of the vehicle that was going to stop the vehicle that is coming towards you. If anything, you would shoot the driver, right? If you want the car to actually stop moving. So I don't know how he got out of it, but it's just really sad all around. And to your point, Southern, yes, I do know that there's different attorneys for different industries. I absolutely do. But when I was 9 years old, I was into watching, criminal law and stuff like that. I used to watch Law and Order. I still watch Law and Order. It's been on for like how many years now? Like, I think Law and Order is older than me and my mom combined. Who knows, right? But I was always thinking at that time when I was 9 years old that I would want it to be one of those type of lawyers, right? A criminal attorney. So when I realized that lawyers or attorneys, they represent actual people who do crimes who are really bad, I couldn't stomach it as a 9-year-old. I said, nope. I told my mom, nope, I don't want to be a lawyer no more. Absolutely not. And, I didn't really know any better. I didn't know about the other different type of industries at 9. So I was just like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not going to defend no one who hurt. That's what I used to say. I'm not going to defend no one who hurt people. Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, it was bad. All right, guys. So that was a sad situation. Prayers to that young little girl who lost both her parents, and prayers to the parents who lost their life. All those incidents, those two incidents could have been completely avoided if, I guess someone wanted to decide to be the adult in the situation. They would still be here if that was the case. All right. So the next case that I have for you guys is just make sure you're hitting the like button for me. I truly, truly appreciate it. You don't know how much it means to me. It definitely helps the channel. It helps gets me back in the algorithm. And if you will share this content out to anyone who might be interested in looking at these cases, reviewing them with each other. I truly appreciate it. So the next case I have for you is about Abulaban. I hope I'm saying the name correctly, and if I'm not, I apologize. It's not intentional. But it's about a story about Abulaban, and apparently it has something to do with their significant other and them losing their life, and I guess what was portrayed as the best relationship or the couple goals on social media turns out it was nothing but that. It was far from that. So we're going to take a look at that. Let's see. Hi, Nurse Dara. Thank you so much for the compliment. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get into it.
I've never met anyone else like you. And I don't think I ever will. I'm not saying that because it's cliche. I'm saying that because no one's ever moved me the way that you do.
You never really know what someone is dealing with behind closed doors. And this is especially true of those lives we follow on social media. In the eyes of their 1 million plus social media fans, Anna and Ali Abulaban were the perfect couple. Beautiful people leading a beautiful, glamorous life. It was an image that would be shattered in the most gruesome of ways on October 21st, 2021. This is the story of Anna and Ali Abulaban. It is a story of a toxic and obsessive love, hidden from the world behind a carefully curated public image, and the jealous rage that would end it in the most savage way imaginable. Welcome to Fear Files, where we discuss and dissect the most mysterious, terrifying, and mind-bending cases from all over the world. Before we start, we would like to say that our thoughts and prayers go towards the families that fell victims to the deranged actions of one particular man. San Diego is frequently coined America's finest city. Located on the coast of Southern California, San Diego has an idyllic climate, 70 miles of white sand beaches, a vibrant nightlife, and an endless number of family attractions. One of the liveliest parts of town is the urban enclave known as the East Village, a trendy downtown neighborhood with over 700 businesses, a host of luxury high-rise apartment blocks, and dozens of clubs, rooftop bars, and live music venues. It was at one of these luxury high-rise apartments in the East Village of San Diego that in 2021, 28-year-old Anna Marie Abulaban was living with her husband Ali and their 5-year-old daughter Amara. From the outside looking in, the Abulaban family seemed to have it all. A fairy tale romance, stunning good looks, a beautiful daughter, a wide circle of friends, and growing fame as social media influencers. 29-year-old Ali, better known by his TikTok handle Jin Kid, had already garnered 1 million plus followers across various social media platforms for his comedy skits.
All right, so what do you call yourself, tough guy, huh?
Antonio Montana. And you? What you call yourself?
Listen, buddy, I'm the only one that asks questions around here, pal. Got it? You ever been in jail?
Buddy? No. No, wait, man.
Thank you, Oren. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Have
Life,
fun.
on paper, should have been perfect for the Abulabans, or at least as perfect as the choreographed images on their Instagram accounts. Life in San Diego was certainly very different to the life Anna Abulaban had led growing up. Born in 1993 in Okinawa, Japan, to Filipino parents, Anna had gone to high school at a U.S. military base in Japan where her father had been employed. After graduating high school, Anna had earned a degree at the Technological University of the Philippines. Friends described Anna as charming, intelligent, and down-to-earth. She was also stunningly beautiful, but it was her inner beauty that made her stand out, her best friend of 15 years, Casey Conroy, said. According to Casey, she was a genuinely good person, a kind, loving friend who felt more like a family member. The future could surely hold only promising things for the bright and vivacious young Anna. It certainly looked that way when she fell in love with Ali Abulaban, a handsome young American soldier stationed at the same U.S. military base where her father worked. 22-year-old Ali Nasser Abulaban had been born in 1992 in Staten Island to Palestinian parents before growing up in Virginia. Ali had been an aspiring entertainer from a young age, an extrovert who enjoyed being the center of attention. At 14, he had been the singer in a band before joining the military. It was love at first sight for both Ali and Anna, and the pair embarked on a passionate whirlwind affair. Ali, in particular, was smitten with Anna. But for Anna's friend Casey, there was something off. Ali was obsessed with Anna, she said. They had only been dating for a few weeks when Casey called her friend, only for Ali to answer. He asked her why she was calling and what she wanted. It was clear to Casey that he didn't want Anna's friends calling. He wanted Anna just for himself. Within a year of meeting her, Ali had married Anna, taken her back to his home state of Virginia, and they were expecting their first child.
So, what I want to say about this off jump, right? I just think that we need to get to a point in our life that even when because there's still a whole bunch of content creators, influencers on all different type of platforms, even this platform, right? We have to understand that these are still human beings. And even though they are marketing the greatest high points of their life, that doesn't mean that they don't have low points. And I think when we're dealing with social media, we tend to forget that these influencers or people that we're following are not rainbows and sunshine all the time, right? These are human beings who are flawed. We are all flawed. We all have some form of insecurities. We all have some form of confidence. This is just what we are as just being human, right? And to be human is to err. And sometimes we get, what's the word? We get comfortable. We get comfortable as in thinking that this, whatever these people are portraying online, this is their life 24/7. This is how they act 24/7. And even with some influencers or content creators, right, as myself, we're being very genuine. And there's some that are not being as genuine. But we have to get out of this illusion of thinking that we don't have down days. There is days where I am tired as hell. There's days that I am not looking, I'm not looking fresh, right? There is days where I am screaming. There is days where I am angry, sad, all that. You can name it, right? It's not perfect on here. It's not perfect on the outside, on the other side of the camera, you know? And I hope that, when we're seeing these situations with influencers, a lot of influencers being exposed, a lot of celebrities are being exposed, a lot of entertainers are being exposed, even everybody's being exposed. This is the year 2025, right? The year of the snake. So everybody is being exposed. We are seeing the realness about people. We're seeing the dark side of people as well as the quote unquote good side that they're trying to portray. So I'm just thinking that for us to continue to be healthy, as much as possible as we continue to go on into this technology universe that we're moving forward in, we have to just keep that in our back in our mind, that it's great that we're getting this content. It's great that we're seeing this type of lifestyle. It's great that we're seeing this type of communication and stuff like that. But it is not like this 24/7. And it might not be somebody's story or your story. You know what I'm saying? And that is okay. We have to realize that that part also is okay. That if you don't have the life as someone else, it's okay to not have the life as someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like we tend to think like if you don't have this particular type of setup, that you're doing something wrong, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. That I hope we're getting better at it. We're actually trying to keeping that in mind when we're getting this type of information or exposing ourselves to so many people's different lifestyles and how they move and how they operate and what they do. And I hope we're always keeping that in the back of our mind, that when it's on the camera, because it's a presentation, yes, majority of people are going to put their best foot forward. And then the ones who don't, right? The ones where they show you all the the negative and all the dark shit, right? That is also a part of their marketing strategy. I have a degree in marketing, okay? I have one of my degrees that I hold is in marketing. And there is a positive side and there is a negative side, but it's still marketing nonetheless. So just keep that in mind, okay? Let's go on.
Once settled in Virginia, the newlyweds welcomed their beautiful baby girl, Amara Abulaban. Life in Virginia was idyllic, according to Ali, who later said they were living the American dream. Ali still yearned to be a star. He sang and wrote music before taking up a new hobby, creating comedy skits and celebrity impersonations for TikTok and later YouTube and Instagram. Ali described himself on his YouTube account as a guy who loves watching movies and creating parodies of my favorite characters. These characters included rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine and a favorite, the fictional movie icon Tony Montana from the 1983 movie Scarface. Fans described his impersonations of Tony Montana as uncanny and spot on. His skits about Skyrim, a video game, were also hugely popular with fans and other social media influencers. Ali appeared to be on the brink of hitting the big time. In 2019, his first video went viral, and he quickly amassed a significant following, with 263,000 followers on Instagram, 950,000 fans on TikTok, and 171,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel. Meanwhile, Anna would appear in many of the skits, and she began producing her own content for Instagram and quickly gained 11,000 followers. It's not clear whose idea it was to shift the family to San Diego. Ali claimed it was Anna's, who had friends from the military base there. For the ambitious Ali, though, who fostered dreams of becoming an actor, a move to California must have seemed like the obvious next step. Neither could have predicted just how rapidly and catastrophically things would disintegrate in the days and months to follow. The Abulaban family moved into their high-rise apartment on Island Avenue in the East Village, San Diego, in February of 2021. Surrounded by old friends and the opportunities presented by this vibrant city, the scene was set for both Anna and Ali to spread their wings socially and professionally, and Anna was ready to do just that. Her social media posts from that time show her working out, enjoying spa days with girlfriends, and nights out on the town. She looked jaw-droppingly beautiful and impossibly glamorous. Meanwhile, Ali's social media following continued to grow. Interspersed with his own comedy skits were romantic moments of shared laughter with Anna, along with effusive proclamations of love. But this was the couple working overtime to create the illusion of the perfect romantic union. In abusive relationships, both parties often go to great lengths to hide the dysfunctional side of their relationship from the public eye, whether out of denial or shame. And then there's the extreme highs and lows that often mark toxic love, with the lows often deliberately kept out of sight. Because while Ali Abulaban took pride in having such a beautiful wife, this pride took the form of possessiveness and an extreme need for control, and Ali was losing control of his beautiful possession. Soon after they arrived, the first serious signs of trouble were beginning to show. Anna's friends in San Diego didn't like Ali, and they clued in on his controlling behavior. Anna's friends were the spiritual hippie types. It unnerved them that he carried a gun everywhere he went. He was also highly aggressive, Anna's friend Casey said. He talked over people, interrupted people, dominated the conversation, and would boast about his success on social media. He was also all about the high life. His cousin, Louis Marinari, said that watching his wife's social life flourish was stirring up extreme jealousy and paranoia, and Ali felt.
So that makes perfect sense with that, especially from the beginning. Like Laura said, him coming at her friends 3 weeks in, that's an auto red flag. Yes, it is, right? Because I think sometimes when people get in these relationships, especially when it comes down to, says some men, right? The women that your potential partner is best friends with is also part of cultivating their personalities, right? And I think that most men tend to forget that, right? Like, the woman that you're pursuing, she was a human being who was doing something that enticed you to want to be a part of her life. And you think that now when she combines herself, or she agrees to combine herself to you, that that part is not necessary anymore. And that's like the farthest from the truth, right? If you fell in love with a woman who is for example, if she's actively a social butterfly, she's always the center of attention, everybody love, having fun with her and stuff like that, and you love that about her too, because that, made you focus on her, and that made you interested in her, or that made you spy her. It's hard for you. It's going to be a hard situation when you want her to now make that stop, right? Especially if she doesn't want to do it for herself. Now, a lot of women, when they get into relationships, they are a little bit different than how they are as a single woman, right? And I don't think a lot of men appreciate that when women know that they cannot act the same exact way as a single woman when they're in a relationship. So they will naturally start to do things that will basically protect her relationship with whoever she's with. They start making adjustments naturally, right? Because there's things that single women do that women who are in a relationship or marriage don't do. And and it's a natural thing that they understand, right? And that's what is also expect with anybody that's in a relationship. You don't want to be in in a relationship with a man who still has the mindset of acting like he's a bachelor or a single guy out in the street. That is horrible, right? It's a horrible experience when you link up with someone and this person still wants to act and behave as if they are the same single guy in the street and they're not in an actual relationship. So I do think that sometimes that is like it's not appreciated when you do see the actual subtle movements between both parties that they're doing, because they know that they're in this relationship. They are committed to this relationship, and they want to make sure that this relationship is protected. Anything that you think is valuable, you're going to make sure that you protect it, right? You're going to make sure that you protect it. But in this situation, I can understand why it kind of went sour, because it seemed like he wanted to be the center of attention. he was very into entertainment, having a spotlight on him, and he know he had a drop dead gorgeous girlfriend who actually loved him and actually wanted to be with him, who was supposed to be his wife, right? When she started to have her own social media and build her own following and stuff like that, yes, if an insecure man or the man who needs to be the center of attention all the time, that is going to be a problem. And if she's getting all this attention from other men about how beautiful she is, in his mind, he's thinking she might run across someone that might have something that I don't have. And she's well enabled to get it, so that caused a problem too. But let's see. Let's see. Mr. Show's cemetery. Okay. Sorry you feel that way, Mr. Show. Let's see. Laura said you are much better off getting with the friends than trying to get her to leave them alone. Yeah. You're much better. Oh yeah, is that like? I mean, not even that. It's just like, as long as if her friends are not sitting up there being diabolical, trying to, destroy the relationship. Will actually destroy the relationship, because that's a situation too where friends will actually go out their way and try to destroy that girl's relationship. Right? Give her bad advice. Also be on the low trying to get the guy. To get the guy, to deal with them instead of her. If that's not happening, and it is just saying, hey, I just want, I want to still be able to spend time with my friend and have conversations with her and stuff like that, then it shouldn't be that much of a pushback, really. Like, don't try to change your mate, right? I guess that's the saying. Don't try to change your mate. Pick the right mate for you. Don't try to change your mate. And see, sometimes that's just how people are. Sometimes it's the very thing you were attracted to that drive you away. Yeah, I agree. But then that caused a problem, right? Because if you're into the outgoing girl, but then when the outgoing girl becomes your mate, now you don't want this girl to be outgoing. You have to be realistic with yourself. You don't like an outgoing girl. You just utilize this outgoing girl because that's what made you draw to her to even know that she existed. And you use that as an opportunity in a time and a place. But truly, you're not into an outgoing girl. You're into a homebody. Well, if you're into an actual homebody, a homebody is not going to be out in the streets, right? A homebody is going to go to bookstores, is going to go to church, or if they're going to be home, right? And so most of the time, you're not going to see a homebody girl. You're going to have to catch her at the supermarket, picking up groceries or something like that. Like I said, you're going to catch her in certain places, and that's like only like a once in a lifetime situation because she's not really outside. But if you're see a girl who is social butterfly and she's out there, she's making herself known and stuff like that, that is showing you that this girl is a social butterfly. She likes social interaction. She likes to be out often. If that's not your cup of tea, you have to be realistic with yourself. And then you also have to be realistic that you are utilizing the fact that this girl is an outgoing girl to get close to her, to get access to her, but you don't really like the fact that she's an outgoing girl. I don't think a lot of people are just being honest with themselves about what they truly are interested in. They make excuses. But the same thing that drew you in is the same thing you want to remove from your significant other. That's just crazy. It doesn't work. It never works. And I've seen it, like, from all the stories and stuff that we see, that never works. It really don't. And that's also on the man's side too. If you know that you have a man that's out in the street and like to be out in the street, what makes you think that he ain't going to be out in the street when he with you? What makes you think that that's going to really change? Not until he's ready, right? And just like not until she's ready, until they're ready to be like, you know what? I don't really feel like being out in the street anymore. Like, I've done this already. I did this in my youth. I had my fun. That era is over. I really just want to go home and I want to go on trips when, to go see the world or go to the museum shit. Until that person is ready to do that, don't force it. Don't force it. Bruce says, same with the girl. What was he when you met him? Right. Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Women think they can fix them. Yeah. Everybody think they can fix everybody. That's a big problem right there too. Yep, that's what I got from it. Yeah. How you doing, Grateful One? Good to see you. Let's see. Hey, Omni, what's going on, bro? How you doing? Did you start the new job or the new placement again? You told me you got a placement from your school, right? Shout out to you, bro. Change to all the messages. All right, let's go on. But it just seems like right now, it seems like he was getting jealous. She was growing a big platform, and whether or not if she was blowing her platform because she is smoking hot, and I can admit, I'm not into women, but she is a smoking hot woman. That was a problem for him. Let's go on.
Felt that she was partying too much. He said Ali wanted to control Anna. He wanted to know what she was doing every time of the day. He became extremely jealous and furious. His wife was going out with friends and he wasn't involved, and it drove him mad. While Ali was a funny guy and loved by his family, Ali had a dark side, his cousin said. He had observed his relationship with Anna close up and at times found Ali's treatment of her to be abusive. And as the months wore on, that dark side rose to the forefront. Even his skits seemed to escalate in their aggression and take on a foreboding edge. It's not clear when Ali first started using cocaine. It was quickly apparent to everyone, however, when he became a regular user of the drug. Once, while on Instagram Live, a drunk Ali pulled out a bag of cocaine and started snorting it. People thought it was part of a skit until they realized it wasn't. In an apology video the next day, Ali explained that it was his first time using it, and he warned people of the dangers of drugs. But it was a weak and implausible explanation. He then ranted about how much he loved his wife, but that he didn't like her friends, who he said would bring men into their homes to cheat on their husbands. His family didn't support him, he said, and were not in touch with him. Ali's mental state was clearly unraveling, and right before the eyes of his fans, whose comments now were increasingly turning towards his weight loss and state of mind, and suggestions for him to relax and be strong. One fan wrote, "I knew there was something wrong with him. He was drinking so much and looked so thin." But with his marriage disintegrating, Ali's drug use accelerated. His cousin explained that once, while they were out in a bar, he pulled out a huge bag of cocaine and put it on the table. His cousin said that they would be thrown out, to which Ali said that no one could touch him. He could do whatever he wanted. He was Gin Kid. With his over 1 million followers, Ali was starting to feel like a star, superior, untouchable, things he had always secretly known about himself. Only why couldn't he get his wife Anna to see the same? Ali's cousin found his obsession with his wife strange. Ali seemed to sense that he was losing her, or control of her at least. When Anna's friends called, he'd often take the phone and challenge them on why they were calling her. When they were in bars, he would scroll through his phone looking at photos of Anna and talking about how much he loved her, how beautiful she was, how he would never let anyone else have her. It was clear that Ali was reaching a breaking point. Things were about to implode, suddenly and violently. In early October, Anna called the police and reported that Ali had pushed her in front of their daughter, giving her minor injuries. She said that Ali had also shown their daughter a loaded gun and showed her how to hold it. In a video posted around the same time, an incensed Ali is seen hurling abuse at Anna, who is off camera. He accuses her of using him to get into America.
Fucking taking away my whole life. I got a top secret clearance. You trying to fuck that up? Fucking bitch. Fucking talk to me. I'll bring you to San Diego for what? So you can run to your friends? Fucking bitch. You're not even an American citizen. I brought you to this goddamn country. Name one man that would do that shit for you, bitch. Fucking asshole women, man. Ungrateful motherfuckers.
On October 18th, Anna Abulaban finally asked her husband to move out. Then she filed for a divorce and a restraining order.
So obviously he was spiraling out of control for quite some time. He got caught up in his persona that he had online, and also the quote unquote clout that he thought that he got from all his following, which also led him to start doing drugs. And even that was a spiraling out of control. What he doesn't realize is that his issue was never with his wife. The demons that he was fighting was with himself. He knew that he was not living up to his part in that marriage. He also knew that he was not living up to the man that he said that he was going to be for her and for his daughter. And because of that, he, instead of doing what he needed to do to get himself in order and in check, he will take out and lash out on his wife as if she was the cause of any of the things that he was going through. And that is because, I don't know, even I think that he personally, he had the trait of narcissist in him. And I mind you, like I said, he might have never been diagnosed with narcissism. And I can't diagnose him with narcissism. I don't have the license to do that. However, he does have high narcissist traits. And he even showed that in the beginning before he started spiraling out of control. I think him dealing with social media and him having to put on this persona of being the man with a great looking woman, the perfect family, living in a high rise in San Francisco, getting his name out there. Hopefully he gets picked up for a Netflix deal or a movie deal and stuff like that. I do believe that him feeding into that fed into his narcissism. And this is now why he's spiraling out of control, and he's actually pulling his wife away from him. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't know that he's pushing his wife away from him. He thinks that she's gradually moving away from him because she wants to do her own thing and she's listening to her friends and she has another guy that she might be interested in. That's what he keeps on telling himself. He doesn't understand it's his behaviors, it's his mannerism, it's the things that he's doing. He is not showing up as the same man that she fell in love with years ago. That is actually making her standoffish. And the coke doesn't do anything better for him. The coke it literally just feeds into more of his craziness and him trying to blame her because he can't blame himself. He can't take accountability for himself. So that's what's actually happening right now. This is sad. This is really sad. I didn't know about this, but I'm glad that we're reviewing it. Omni said, not yet. They wanted me to sign up early for the for the master's program. Right, because I'm flying through the bachelor's. No out-of-pocket cost and no debt is a deal I couldn't pass up. I hear you, Omni. Get that degree, man. Get that master's degree. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. I always look forward to that. Shout out to that. I'm into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm always into anybody doing well. Self-reflection is a blessing or a curse. Both. Self-reflection is a blessing and a curse, depending on how you are going to utilize that information when you get it, right? In the military, there's something that's called metacognition. And metacognition is when someone learns oneself's strengths and weaknesses. And that is a hard pill to swallow because you have to admit where your weaknesses are. You can acknowledge your strengths, but you have to admit where your weaknesses are. And you have to be willing to work at it or accept them that is a weakness. And then strengthen the ones that you're already strong in, right? To create that balance that you need. But you have to be in the right mindset to do that. So self-reflection can also break or make a person depending on where their mindset is at. If someone self-reflects and they feel like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit, I'm trash, I'm not doing nothing with my life, I'm a loser and all that stuff like that. If they go deep down that rabbit hole, what happens? Those people tend to commit unaliving, self-unaliving, or unaliving of others, right? But then you have people who can take that hard pill about the things about themselves and they like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do something better. I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to take the steps that I need to improve myself. Not everybody has that mindset to do that. So it's slippery, right? Self-reflection is good, but how it's presented and whoever has to go through that moment to self-reflect, it's a toss of the coin, really, depending on the person. So that's why I say it is a blessing and it is a curse, because you have to come to realization about certain things about yourself. But it's a blessing because you can do something about it if you want to. But it's a curse if you don't want to do something about it. All you're going to do is just go deep down the hole, Alice. Let's see. Omni says the BSIT is a development analysis, but the master's will either be cybersecurity or IT management. Got to. I mean, IT management sounds pretty good. Yeah, you got it. He's like, you got a headache to prefer. Which one to prefer? Which one do you prefer? You've been doing cybersecurity for quite some time. IT management seems like right up your field, Omni. It does. It really do. Some people can just face no fault with themselves. Yeah. Hi, David. How you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. You're right. Nothing's their fault. It's always someone or something. Yeah. I think this happens a lot. It does. Write that up, hopefully. Finding our weakness and admitting our weakness is a very hard thing to do. It is, Bruce. It definitely is. For the moment I have to do the debt in this financial environment, it's not worth it. Okay. Yep. Use that reflection as a constructive criticism and make it better. Absolutely. Hey, Don. Good to see you. Let's go on.
Order. Just like that, something in Anna had finally snapped. But escaping an abuser is rarely as easy as that. And the prospect of losing all control over Anna was not something Ali was able or willing to accept. Ali moved into the Mission Bay Hotel, but without Anna knowing, he made a copy of their apartment's front door key. His drinking and erratic behavior had now reached new heights. In one Instagram live session streamed while driving and drinking from a bottle of red wine, he asked if any sexy females were watching him right now to send him a message. They'd caught him in a moment where he was having problems with his wife, he said. Meanwhile, he was calling Anna incessantly. When he couldn't get through, he'd call her friends or anyone else who would listen. He wanted to know where she was, what she was doing, and why she wouldn't take his calls.
Yeah, that's
Friends
Don.
begged
He's
him
never
to
here.
give her some time and space, but he was living in a state of denial, his cousin said, and his obsession with Anna only increased by the day. He seemed to be in shock about her request for a divorce and was losing his mind over it. He felt she was punishing him and that she couldn't actually be serious, and was unable to consider the possibility that she might actually go through with it. His cousin urged him to move on. He assured him that he could find someone else. He could get anyone he wanted. Ali, ever the egomaniac, agreed with him, but he was equally empathetic over the fact that he didn't want anyone else. He only wanted his wife, and he would go to any lengths to get her. No one knew just how dark the depths of Ali's soul really were, and the darkness was about to unleash itself for the world to see. 3 days later, on October 21st, Ali Abulaban sneaked back into the apartment while his wife was out with the key he had duplicated and vandalized it. He then phoned her to tell her what he had done. But there was one thing he hadn't mentioned to Anna. Ali had surreptitiously installed a spying app on their daughter's iPad that would allow him to listen to what was happening inside the house from his telephone. When Anna returned to the house later that day, she brought her friend, Rayburn Cadenas Barron, with her. Rayburn was 29 and a San Diego native. He was a family-oriented person, a warm and thoughtful person, someone who friends said they could depend on. And when Anna called on him for help that day, possibly to help clean up the apartment or for protection, knowing that Ali had a key and could appear at any moment, he dropped everything to help her. It would be the final catalyst for a deranged Ali. Ali Abulaban was listening to the app on his phone when he heard the sound of his wife and a male voice talking and...
So Bruce said she felt that way about you till you became a possessive asshole. Yes, exactly. Right? And that is why a lot don't realize that they're actually spiraling out of control, because you don't realize the things that you're actually doing is not acceptable behavior. And when you're controlling, or when you think that you're controlling, you think that you can do all these things, and these things are just supposed to be, accepted or given grace all the time. And the person that you're in a relationship with, and this doesn't mean only just women, this also means with men as well. The person that you're in a relationship with have their breaking point too. They have their boundaries and they have their standards of what they're going to tolerate and what they're not going to tolerate. And we all know that we make amends, and we are compromising in relationships, because that's what relationship is all about. But when it gets to the point where you think that you can do certain things like this, you're not acting or thinking straight when you think that it's okay to violate, disrespect, or threaten the person who is deciding to be with you. Like, this person is deciding to be with you. Like, you forgot that. Like, you didn't pick this person out in a store like a product. This person had to decide to be with you. You put on all the charms, you put on your best foot forward to be with this person, or to present yourself as the person that they should choose. That person made a choice to be with you. So if they made a choice to be with you, they can also make the choice to not be with you too, right? If they decide that it's no longer beneficial to them, or if it's threatening to them, that is still there. It's very hard when you're dealing with individuals who are controlling for them to think that, because when they're controlling in that way, they believe that you don't have no other options. You don't get to decide anymore. It's a done deal. They made the purchase, they bought the cow, and now it's their cow, and they can do whatever they do with their cow. And it's not it. It's not it at all. What he did was was absurd. It was crazy. He couldn't even believe that she didn't want to be with him anymore. But then yet you're calling her a bitch. And then you're also calling her in front of a whole bunch of thousands of strangers that you used me to get a fucking visa. Like, come on. Like, dude, like, you tend to forget that her parents was in the military. She was raised on a Air Force base in Japan. if she needed to get U.S. citizenship, she was already in position that she could have got her U.S. citizenship. Like, but you would throw that out there to shame her and embarrass her and to make her seem like she's a foul, trifling individual. But then you also want to be with her. You also want her to stay with you. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But in the mind of a controlling person, yeah, I'm going to say all this negative thing about you to ward off anybody else who might be interested in you. But I know the real you. I know what you're really worth. I know what you really bring to the table. And I want to keep you all to myself. So don't worry about, this is what they think. They think that you should understand that. Don't worry about all the nasty negative things that I'm saying out about you. That is just a protection level that I'm giving you because I don't want these people to come and be in your face and stuff. You should look at it as protection, that I'm violating you publicly and I'm shaming you publicly because I only really know you. I really know what you're worth and I only deserve that. It's insane, really. It truly is an insane type of situation. Southern said, how did he want her, but he's calling her names and being disrespectful? Yes, like I said, absolutely. It's for him, he thinks it's a protection mechanism that he's giving to her and him in their relationship. That's why he does it. He just loved that she's bought him yeah. Let's see. Okay, bye, Anthony. Nobody's doing witchcraft but you. Goodbye. Anyway, let's see. My grandmother told me long ago, it doesn't matter who's chasing her. If she loves you, she's chasing you. She doesn't even see them. Your grandmother is a wise woman. She's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Let's go on.
Giggling, and he went into a homicidal rage. He didn't know whose voice he had heard, just that it was male. Just before 3 p.m., he drove from the Mission Bay Hotel to the apartment complex and took the elevator to the 35th floor. The entire way, he cursed and cried and prayed that his wife did not have sex with the man before he got there. Security camera footage showed him running out of the elevator to the apartment, where he opened the door and opened fire. Inside the apartment, his wife and her friend Rayburn were sitting on the couch. He walked over to them, pulled out his gun, and shot Rayburn 3 times at close range, striking his neck, cheek, and the back of his head. His wife screamed before he turned the gun on her, shooting her at close range in the forehead. Still armed, Ali left the apartment block and picked up his daughter from school. And with his daughter in the car, he told her that he had hurt her mommy. Ali then called his mother and confessed, and then phoned 911 to report the shooting. He said he'd come home to discover his wife and her friend had been shot, and that he wasn't responsible for the crime. After tracking his location via his phone, police arrested him 45 minutes later on State Route 15.
You see this is what I'm talking about. Not only is he's controlling, he's a narcissist, he also is a fucking coward. Excuse my French, but he is a coward. You confessed to your mother what you did. You even confessed to your daughter, but then you thought about it while you were sitting in your car and you was like, I don't want to do the time for this. So let me go ahead and say, yeah, I found them this way, but I didn't have no involvement. You're a punk. You're a coward. You're a coward because you knew what you did was wrong. You knew what you did was wrong. And here you are not even suffering. If you really thought that you had the right to do that, you should have stand on it. But you couldn't stand on it. You couldn't stand on it because you let your ego get in the way. You let your ego get in the way. You let your ego take over your logic. And then you took that your daughter's mom from her for no good fucking reason. None. She wasn't mistreating that little girl. Nothing. She wasn't abusing that little girl. Nothing. Because she literally had a guy in her house and it seemed like they were just having a good conversation. You didn't even overhear them having sex. But even if that was happening, that was no longer your business. She was not with you anymore. You were not together. You have to get over the fact that you think that you own people. You don't fucking own people. And this doesn't only go for men, it goes for women too. You don't own these men. And men don't own women. Y'all gotta get out of that dumb ass fucking mindset. How are you owning someone? How did that happen? Or where are you purchasing them? Where's the fucking receipt that you're purchasing them? You don't own people. They don't have to be tied to you or stay with you and pretty much boost your ego or make you feel good if you're not even benefiting them anymore or anything of that sort. It doesn't work that way. If you mutually get into a relationship with someone, you can mutually, or you could decide not to be in a relationship with that person. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. It always drives me crazy when I hear about these type of cases. It really does. It really does. You do all these extra steps and put your best foot forward to attract the opposite sex, or even in some cases, the same sex now, right? Because I'm not going to leave out same-sex relationships, right? In marriages. You do all these stuff to make yourself look as I am the number one choice if you're going to be out there selecting someone. And you let the person choose whether or not they want to deal with you or not. Why do you really think that doesn't take place afterwards? Why do you think that stopped? You have to question yourself. Why do you think that it stops at one point? It never stops. That person can literally be with you for 30 plus years. And for 30 plus years, the 35th year, they figure that, you know what? I am really not happy. This is not really working. And I don't want to be with you anymore. You have to get comfortable with that reality that people can decide whether they want to be with you or don't want to be with you. You have to get comfortable with that. And we need to start teaching people to accept that truth. Because this got to stop. We have too many cases with domestic violence that's leading to people losing their lives, whether it's men or women. It has to stop. You don't own these fucking people. These people were people before they got with you. And they're going to be people afterwards. And even when you try to take their life, that does not mean that they're not a person anymore. If that's the case, if they weren't a person anymore, we wouldn't be looking at cases like this where you're being charged for unaliving them or doing this to them or sexually assaulted them or physically assaulted them or we wouldn't be having these type of cases if it was in law that once a person aligned to you, that person has no autonomy anymore whatsoever. It's just crazy. Like, people got to stop thinking like this. I don't know where they get it from, but it's a toxic mentality. And it's only going to do you more harm than anything, really. Don't fucking keep nobody who don't want to fucking stay. The fuck is wrong with y'all?
I didn't believe it for a good hour, Anna's best friend, Casey Conroy, said. I heard there was a shooting in the East Village, but I was like, you don't know. You don't know. Me and Anna had been talking about birthday plans in 4 days. I texted Anna immediately. She had just texted me, what are we going to do for your birthday? At the preliminary hearing, around 24 family members and friends of the two victims packed the San Diego County Superior Court. Several of them sobbed as details of the killings were shared. Ali pled not guilty to 2 counts of murder, as well as special circumstance allegations of multiple killings. Prosecutors may pursue the death penalty if Abulaban is convicted. The judge also issued a protective order that requires Abulaban to stay away from his daughter. Ali was seen sobbing uncontrollably as prosecutors read out the details of his crime. Later, Ali gave a garbled media interview from jail. He said that he had gotten there that day. He had found his wife and Rayburn kissing. Rayburn's feet were on the table. It was this that made him lose it. The man in his apartment with his wife, his furniture. I felt like I was in the passenger seat of my own body, he said. What do you expect a man to do? Yet he also stated they'd already been shot when he arrived, a claim that makes no sense given his previous statement. His family said that his fame changed him. According to his cousin, he was actually a very insecure person, and social media created a fake reality for him to escape to. But it made him feel as if he was better than other people. It created a monster. Anna's best friend disagrees. Ali is just a bad guy, she says. He's selfish. There's nothing good about him. Ali's favorite fictional character was the violent mobster Tony Montana. Was it because he related to him, to his hunger for power, abuse of others, and violent rages? It seems the more Ali indulged himself in playing the character, the more he came to emulate the violent, paranoid megalomaniac he so admired. And Ali's life ostensibly ended much the same way as Tony Montana's, in carnage, violence, and tragedy. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like the video, comment down below your take on it, and please subscribe to the channel. Also,
That was a sad story because, like I said, it's just we just see a lot of it happening today. I read a case recently that it was another situation that happened a couple of weeks ago where it was this favorite couple who was on IG and it was doing shows and stuff like that, and everybody thought that they were fun and all the stuff like that, and they ended up killing each other. And this is why I would just preach, and I'm not, like I said, you don't have to take my advice or not, but I would definitely just say that just take with a grain of salt the information or what is being presented to you when it comes down to influencers, content creators, and all that stuff like that. If you question anything, do your due diligence, do your research, right? Just don't take things at face value. And also remember that these people on a screen or on a camera are human beings just like you. They are no better than you. They're no better than you. They're no different than you. Okay? They're not. They go through their same ups and their same lows just like you. They have to walk on this earth and be in the society just as much as you. And just be mindful, right? Because all this is really sad. It's really, really sad. I'm very surprised about that. Very surprised about that story. All right, so the next case that I have for you good folks, and just make sure you're hitting the like button for me. I truly appreciate it. Helps the channel, and also share this out just in case if you think anybody like these type of cases or so. The next case I have for you guys is a disturbing story about Melinda I might be saying her last name wrong, so please forgive me if I am, but it's Pleskovic. So this is a story about Melinda Pleskovic. It has to do with a significant other, and I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to review it with you guys. So let's go ahead and check this out. Here we go.
Somebody's been attacked in my house.
Somebody's been what?
Attacked.
What's the address?
Home. 17784 Blazing Star Drive.
They attacked who? Who was attacked? Someone get my fires.
Mel Pleskovic. Mel Pleskovic was attacked.
He was attacked by whom? Do you know?
She was. No, we just came home. She's on the kitchen floor. I took her son and my daughter outside. Her husband is inside with her now.
So the husband attacked her?
No. We just came home.
You came home and found her injured on the floor?
We found her in the kitchen. She's not moving. I took the kids and I walked
but
outside.
I can start looking into those.
She was beaten or what?
She has blood all around her. I didn't look. I grabbed the child and left.
Okay, hold on.
So we have 2 small kids.
Okay,
outside.
hold on. I'm going to get fire going. Hold on a moment.
It began like the plot from a horror film, with masked men peering through the windows of an ordinary suburban house and the chilling sound of door handles being turned in the night. Then, right on script, the strange occurrences that terrorized a Strongsville family from 2016 to 2017 culminated with a horrific murder in the kitchen of the family home, and a twist so shocking, not even those closest to the family believed it to be true. Welcome to Fear Files, where we discuss and dissect the most mysterious, terrifying, and mind-bending cases from all over the world. Before we start, we would like to send our thoughts and prayers to the loved ones of Melinda Pleskovic, who tragically lost her life in such a savage and senseless way. Welcome to Strongsville, Ohio, located just 21 miles southwest of Cleveland near the Canadian maritime border. Strongsville is a city full of small-town charm and just minutes from fishing lakes, rivers, and mountain trails. With a violent crime rate 89% lower than the national average, it is also a town where people can leave their doors unlocked, knowing that their homes are safe. Theft, burglaries, violent crimes, these things happen to other neighborhoods. Or at least they used to, until 2017, when a whole new brand of evil landed and took root in this quiet Midwestern town. On the evening of October 23, 2017, 3 separate 911 calls were made from a Blazing Star Drive home in Strongsville.
Sir? Hi. Okay. Yeah. All right. I have the medics and police responding, okay? All right. I need to get... There's a lot of blood? Okay.
Yeah, I only got a glimpse at her, but I'm not...
How do you know this woman? Is she...
I live here. She's my fiance's mother.
It's your fiance's mother. Okay.
Yes.
Is she, like, had anybody trying to harm her, harass her, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do you have a dog that lives at that house?
We have 2. We have 2 dogs.
Okay. Are the dogs there, or you don't know?
I don't know. We just walked in the front door.
Okay, because we got a phone call from somebody who found a dog that belongs at your residence. That's why I'm thinking the dog's got out, okay? What is your name?
He's right here. I have Kyle. My name's Jeff. Jeff Scully.
Spell your last name, Jeff.
Scullin. Bruce.
Okay. Who's talking to you right now?
That's Bruce Pleskovic. He's her husband. We just came home together.
Okay, and what's Bruce telling you? Is she conscious?
She said she has multiple stab wounds, and he's on the phone with somebody else.
Okay, she's got multiple stab wounds.
That's what he just came out and told me. We hear the ambulance.
Okay, they're coming, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you see any, like, forced entry or anything to the house?
I'm outside. The door was locked.
The door was locked?
The front door was locked.
Okay. Okay. All right. Are you guys all outside right now?
I'm outside. Bruce is inside.
So one of the things that people don't realize, and I guess, it's in the spirit of the moment, but a lot of people don't realize that a lot of knife situations is deemed personal, right? Because you have to use a good amount of force to stab individuals. like a lot of people don't take that into consideration when they do that. Like I know we see on the news, we see people who be having like they'll say a knife wielding person is putting a knife out or saying a knife to the audience and stuff like that or whatever. But truly, when we see incidents where people are being stabbed by knives and losing their lives, that's usually a personal type of situation because it takes great force. It takes great loathing at that point. Back in the days when there wasn't so many guns that was readily available to individuals, a lot of knives cases used to be higher, but knife cases is not as high as they used to be anymore. You can go ahead and look that up. Most knives, there's not that many knife cases as is weapons, actual weapons like a gun, being used now. And in this situation, we're hearing from the neighbor stating that the door was closed, so it doesn't seem like it was any false entry, right? Maybe he closed the door because he didn't want her to run out, locked the door because he didn't want to run out, but it already just shows that this is someone who had access to the house. This is someone who had access to the house. No alarms went off. Nobody really thought initially that something was going on, so it doesn't give you the insight of a burglary went wrong or anything like that. And even with a burglary, someone who's trying to commit theft, most of the time, people who are thieves are not killers. A lot of people don't think that, but most of the time, thieves are not killers. Their main goal is to get in and get out. They want to steal whatever they want to steal and get in and get out. Now, yes, if you try to come and prevent them, they'll do things to, stop you for preventing them from stealing your stuff. But that's not their intention. Their intentions is not to actually kill anyone. It's just to get the goods. So this whole situation about the door being closed, her having multiple wounds, and apparently her husband is there. The first person that they're going to go look for and ask questions is going to be the husband in this situation, because it doesn't seem like it was a false entry that happened. So it could have been him. It could have been a family member, someone who had access to the house. And this is why the 911 operator is asking that question to this neighbor. Like, hey, does it seem like the house door was broken in or anything like that? Or, who's with the victim? They're asking these questions for specific reasons. Let's see. Bruce says this is her husband. He sure sounds worried or upset, doesn't he? No, that's not her husband. That's the actual neighbor. This is the first 911 call. They said that there was 3 911 calls that came in, and right now they're talking to the neighbor. Southern said, "Who cares about a dog?" And the lady is fighting for her life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's. I thought that was kind of weird too. Yes, Bruce, it's up close and very personal. Yep. Most stabbings are used in very emotional, personal hate. Yes, exactly. Let's go on.
I don't know where he is. He was running in and out. I don't know what's going on.
He was running in and out? Okay. I have a male. There's 2 males there and 2 children right now.
I'm outside by the red truck.
Okay. Okay. You didn't see any weapons or anything, correct?
No, I barely saw her. I walked in and I grabbed the baby.
You saw the blood and you ran. Okay.
I ran outside and called the police.
Okay. Okay, Jeff. I'm going to stay on the phone with you until officers and the medics are there, okay? All right?
All right.
Did Bruce say does he think she's alive or he doesn't know?
I don't know. She said she's been stabbed. That's what he said.
And he went back in? He ran out and then ran back in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He ran out looking for Kyle as well.
Okay. Who's Kyle? Who's Kyle?
He's Bruce's son.
And how old is Kyle?
I don't know how old he is.
Is he an adult?
He's older. He's in high school. He's He has Down syndrome. He can't speak or talk.
He has Downs?
Something's wrong with her. I don't know. Hello?
Hey. All right, Jeff, was that an officer or the medics? The police are there?
It's police.
Okay. All right, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and hang up with you, okay? Who's Kyle? He has Down syndrome. Is he there?
Yeah, he's standing right next to me.
He's standing next to you. Kyle is. Okay.
I have him sitting in my car.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't have a missing male. Okay. All right, sir. Just wait and talk to the officers, Jeff. Thanks for your help, okay? You did good, okay? And I'm sorry for the circumstances, okay? All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
The first caller is 20-year-old Jeffrey Scullin Jr. Jeff told dispatch that he'd arrived home to find his soon-to-be mother-in-law, 49-year-old mother of three Melinda Pleskovic, lying in a pool of blood on her kitchen floor. He had just been out to dinner with his 16-month-old daughter and Melinda's husband, 50-year-old Bruce Pleskovic. The only other person at home at the time was the couple's 18-year-old special needs son, Kyle. A second call was made minutes later by Melinda's husband, Bruce.
911, what's the city of your emergency?
Strongsville, Ohio. We have people on the way already.
What's the address?
We're blazing start. I think someone killed my wife. We've had people trying to break into our house all year.
Sir, I need to ask you questions, okay? Are you there right now?
I just got in the door with my new son-in-law. My son was here with her.
Sir, what I want you to do is walk outside and stay in the front, okay? You said she's stabbed in the back?
Yeah, I don't want to...
Yeah, if you don't...
I don't think she's... Her face hit the ground and there's blood. There's a pool of blood.
See if she's breathing?
No, she is not.
Do you
as soon as I got in.
Start CPR?
No.
Do you see anyone else in the home?
My son is here. He has Down syndrome.
That's kind of disturbing to me. So this is your wife, right? This is your wife. You call the police, that's great. But you didn't even try to render aid to your wife. Now, I know not everybody is CPR certified. You should be, right? I don't think that, this is the point in life where you should be CPR certified, right? At least, if anything, you know what I'm saying? Or if you don't even want to get actually certified, you should know the steps. There's been so many different examples of how to do that, but you didn't render any aid to your wife. And then on top of that, you're on the phone explaining to the 911 operator as if you're speaking to the detectives, but the police is already on site now. I find that quite odd. I do. I find that quite odd that you wanted to say, oh, yeah, we've been having threats and people been trying to break into our house and stuff like that. Like, sir, like that should be the least of your concern if you're watching your wife lay down, being unresponsive in a pool of blood. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's just me. My concern would be actually trying to help this person. You don't, even though they're non-responsive, that doesn't mean that they might not be able to be revived. Why are you not trying to help them? So they just got home from dinner, went in and found her dead. Yeah, like that's just, I don't understand that. Like I'm kind of like thrown off about that. I really am. It's just weird. Why are you explaining that you had all these threats and stuff like that? So my thing is, if you had all these threats or people trying to break into your house and stuff like that, I'm sure that the police can pull up. How many times have you called them in reference of people trying to break in your house or people are threatening your wife and you or your family? You know what I'm saying? That is on record, right? That's why you call. I don't know. It just sounds weird to me. It's not sounding good. But let's go on.
She sent me a text to meet me at Brew Kettle at 4:25. I didn't hear from her. I didn't expect this.
No, sir, I understand you're upset, but where's Kyle at in the home?
He's outside with Jeff, our son-in-law. You know, we've asked people to watch our frickin' area. We've had people attempt to break in just this week.
Sir,
I don't know what's going on in this city,
Sir,
but this is getting done here.
I understand you're upset, but can you give me your name, please?
No, you people dropped them.
Sir, can you just take a deep breath? Is there any...
This whole city's getting freaking taken over.
Sir, I understand you're upset, but I need you to stay focused, okay? You don't think you can perform CPR, correct?
She's in the kitchen. I can't believe this.
Before emergency personnel had arrived on the scene, Bruce called again. This time he blasted Strongsville police for not investigating the strange incidents that had been happening at their house for months prior to Melinda's attack.
Okay, what's your...
We've had people trying to break in our house, a lot. They flash our cameras. We're getting targeted, and I don't know by who's doing this, but I'm pissed.
Oh, do you see the medics there, the police there yet?
Everyone's here.
Okay, go speak with the police officer. I'm going to disconnect with you, okay?
I can't believe this.
Could you go speak with the officer that's there?
I was trying to text her all the time to go out to eat. It's our usual routine.
Sir, do you see the officer there?
What's that?
Do you see the officer?
There's two officers here.
Okay, go speak with them. I'll hang up with you.
Yeah.
You know we've asked people to watch our freaking area, Bruce Pleskovic told the dispatcher. We've had people attempt to break in just this week. I don't know what's going on in this city. You've dropped the ball. Melinda, it turned out, had been stabbed more than 35 times and had suffered 3 gunshot wounds to her back before being left to die. Her devastated family, including Anna, age 20, Megan, age 19, Kyle, age 18, were certain that the horrific and savage attack was directly connected to the eerie instances that had tormented the household for over a year. As it turns out, they would be right. As for who was behind the attack, well, that would be Jeff. This is 20-year-old Jeff Scullin in his first interview with Strongsville police hours after the shooting and stabbing of Melinda Pleskovic.
You didn't say anything that night. Was that door open?
Right. Exactly.
The only thing that I could think of was the door being open.
Yeah, the sliding glass door was partially open. You just talked about or mentioned the attempted break-in at that door. Tell me about that. So
I was in the kitchen doing dishes because I made a big mess feeding the baby.
Okay.
I forget what I fed her, but it was something that I had to give her a bath and do dishes.
It's okay. And
they were in there. The big dog, the big black dog, I don't know if you met him, he's Joey, big black lab. He was laying next to the door, to the left of the glass door. And the cats, they jump on the door when they want to let in. Be let in, they jump on this glass door and it kind of wiggles a little bit, it makes a noise.
Yeah. They're outside.
So they're outside half the time, inside. So I just thought it was the cats. And then, it made a big noise and the dog ran over and started barking like crazy. And when I rounded that banister thing, I saw the guy's hand. And I realized someone was trying to get in.
Jeff had been living in the basement of the Pleskovic home since the early days of his fiancée Anna's pregnancy. The pair had still been teenagers when she had gotten pregnant, and Bruce and Melinda invited him to live in their home. They wanted to give the young couple a chance to get on their feet, as well as save some money for the wedding they had planned on October 28th of 2017. They also were fond of the big-hearted, easygoing Jeff. During her pregnancy, Anna took a job waitressing at Applebee's neighborhood bar and grill. Jeff took up relaxing. And after baby Aurora was born in June of 2016, some part-time child rearing. During his interview, Jeff sits with his arms folded and doesn't attempt to hide his irritation at being interviewed over his future mother-in-law's murder. At times, he overemphasizes his words like he's talking to someone who's a little slow on the uptake.
Gotcha. All right. So that's Sunday, but
So I'm just making aware, y'all know that, I'm going to stop and let you know about the interrogation room. Right now, he's only being interviewed. This is a complete setup, okay? Setup as in you're being interviewed. They don't have any details on you. They're not about to press any charges on you for the situation. They just want to know what you know, right? This is the reason why he is facing a desk. This is why there's not another officer or detective inside the room. And he's able to actually kind of like walk out because this is an interview process. Now, if they wanted to address him about any evidence that they have about him being involved in this incident, we will most likely see another detective here. We will also see that the shape of the room will actually kind of be different. He will have the door in his peripherals, but he wouldn't necessarily have that close access to the door, especially if they thought that he might be a flight risk, right? So I wanted y'all to keep that in mind that as of right now, he is just being seen as being interviewed because he was one of the people that was on the scene. He is not deemed as a suspect. But I do find it quite alarming that he's on a defensive stance at this point. This is them going through the whole process. You was the one of the people that was on the scene with the victim, so they have to ask you question. And for him to kind of standoffish by being put in a position where he has to ask questions about his whereabouts, also his relations with the said victim, how was the dynamics with the said victim, it's kind of a little bit alarming. But, we're not going to, fault him that much because, like I said, people's interactions with the police or detectives or investigators is going to be different. It's not all the same. And necessarily having this type of standoffish approach with them doesn't necessarily mean that you're guilty, nor being, quote unquote, trying to perceive yourself as being forthcoming doesn't necessarily mean that you're innocent either. So let's go on.
Go back to
where was I?
You said Mel came home at 12:30, approximately, and
we were gonna all meet for lunch. No, not lunch, dinner. And we were going to go to Applebee's, and then we were all meeting there.
Who's all?
Me, Mel, Bruce, Anna's gonna be serving us. Kyle's gonna be there. And then she asked if my mom could be there because I talked about trying to get them all together.
Did you see Megan?
No, Megan. I think Megan was at school.
Was she? Are you telling me this is a conversation you're having while Mel's home?
No, this was all stuff we talked about the night before, but then she said she didn't want to do it. She had other stuff to do. And then she said she was going to the doctor for something with her foot.
When did Mel cancel on you?
Right when she walked in the door, she's like, hey, I have other stuff to do today. We're not going to dinner. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
Whatever.
And you let your mom know?
No. I was going to surprise my mom and pick her up. Because it's hard to get a hold of her with stuff.
Surprise, what do you mean? Mel canceled, so you're still going to go to dinner with her?
I was going to go to dinner either way to see Anna with the baby.
With your mom?
No, with the baby. I wasn't even going to pick up my mom if she's not going. My Mel's.
Yeah, but so I asked you, did you call your mom and tell her that we're not meeting? And you said, no, I was
going to surprise my mother with the whole thing. She gets home right at like 5:30. I was going to go over there, pick her up, and then come back. But since you canceled, that isn't even need.
Okay, so your mom doesn't know about this meeting?
No. I mean, she might have, unless I messaged it on the phone. Is that a problem?
In his account, he provides a long and convoluted account of his activities that day. He'd crossed paths briefly with Melinda at midday before she'd headed to the doctor's. The family had plans to go to Applebee's that night, but Mel had told him that she was too busy to go. He then went to his dad's and later to his aunt's to rake some leaves before finally meeting Bruce for dinner. He manages to throw out there that his fiancée Anna's 18-year-old brother Kyle, who has Down syndrome and is nonverbal, is kinda scary and jealous of the baby. Jeff makes a point of reminding detectives of the multiple attempted home invasions and other odd crimes that had recently plagued the family. Coincidentally, the eerie instances began just months after Jeff moved into the Pleskovic home. But according to Jeff, he'd played a key role in helping to drive away the would-be assailants.
He's old.
Yeah.
And then Joey didn't bark. Moose did.
Yeah, Joey was like a pass out.
Okay. Where did Moose come from? Where was he?
He follows me around constantly. He was in the kitchen.
He was with you. Okay.
And the baby was sitting there with her bottle.
So Moose starts barking.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you went to the door.
And I saw the person's hand. That's it. And it was just a white, hairy hand. That's it.
When you say was the hand outside pulling on the door, or is
it was inside, like they were reaching for a lock or something? Like can I use your clipboard?
Yeah.
Like if this is the door here, and that's like the top of the silver lock on the sliding door, it was like this, and he was pushing it. Like, I don't know if he thought he could reach it and flip a lock or something. That's all in the report.
It is a little bit, Bruce, but I'm leaning on it was him. I'm leaning on that it was him. A little bit more than her actual husband. Like I said, what her husband did, it really did alarm me a little bit, but his sense doesn't make any, his statement really doesn't make any sense. You were supposed to have this whole get together, right? The whole family and everybody. You was going where the mother of your child works at, which is the neighborhood Applebee's. Shout out to the neighborhood Applebee's, because I love my neighborhood Applebee's. I love y'all. I do. But anyway, yeah, so they was going to the neighborhood Applebee's where his mother of his child worked, and everybody was supposed to get together, right? He said that he was supposed to contact his mom to come, but eventually she told him saying that she has things to do and that she wasn't going to be able to come. My thing is, why wasn't the mother of your, I'll say the mother of your girlfriend, why wasn't she invited to this whole get together with the family and the baby and stuff like that? Why was she at home? Then you said that because your mother wasn't going to come, you were still going to go bring your child to the dinner or surprise her, right, at the house. But you went to go rake somebody else's house and you was doing all this stuff. Like, that sounds kind of weird to me, that all of a sudden out of nowhere, you just like, oh, let me just go over to a family house or whatever now. Let me just go rake their lawn and stuff like that. And I'm still going to go ahead and surprise my mom. Like, it was just a weird type of alibi of what he was doing during the time where the possible murder took place. And then on top of that, I'm thinking the woman was not only stabbed 35 times, she was also shot twice. That takes a couple of minutes, right? It takes at least, I'll give about at least 4 to 5 minutes. He said by the time he got to the house, he saw some white, hairy hand at the door. So did you step in? Did you hear any wailing? Did you hear her fighting to breathe, fighting for her life? Like, where's all that extra stuff that happens when an attack does happen? Because he's making it seem that before the guy left, whoever this attacker was, you was able to pinpoint that it was some white hairy hand that you saw. But it doesn't really explain what happened after that, right? Where was the point where you like, wait a minute, there should be no one else in this house but my mom-in-law. Who the hell is this in the house? Let me barge in and see what the hell is going on. I'm hoping that maybe that's what he's going to tell the rest of the story. But how he outlined how everything happened, it just doesn't sound, really doesn't sound right to me. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong, but it really doesn't sound right to me. It don't. Let's see. Yeah, generally when someone lies, they add a ton of yes, exactly, Khalif. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I love my neighborhood Applebee's. Like, that's just like my little, like, if I just don't want to do nothing like all fancy and dancy and I want to just be around good people, a nice little watch the basketball game or the football game on the screen and have my nice little signature drink at the bar. I love my little neighborhood Applebee's. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Bruce said, my Julie. No, I wasn't. Absolutely not. Calip said, maybe dad wanted it done and the boyfriend did it. You know what? That could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. Drug accident lawyer San Antonio said the blonde brownies at... Yes! Thank you, Truck! I knew I had a good feeling about you, Truck. Absolutely. I love those. I do. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Let me get myself together. Okay, let's go.
The other day.
Do you have a hat on?
His hoodie was up. I don't know if he had a hat on.
Did you see any like hair hanging down?
No. I saw elbows and ass basically when he saw him from us. I saw
what about
his
shoes?
I couldn't tell you.
So Moose is trying to get out. Are you holding Moose back?
No, he got stuck in the door.
Oh, you really got stuck.
He got stuck. I had to push the door like at an angle. Like with the guy pushing on it, put it at an angle, and when we let go, he got stuck like right here.
What did he do when Moose came to the door?
He moved. He went to the right, and he dragged. There was like the metal dog leashes, the really long ones. You hook them to like a tree or whatever. They're just hooked up to the bottom steps. Well, Moose, he's an idiot, and he runs in between the chairs and the table, and then he'll run and drag them all.
Yeah.
Well, I think he got stuck because I heard a loud noise, like right when I tried to open the door, and all the chairs were pulled down the steps.
Right. But Moose isn't on the leash.
No, he wasn't. He was on earlier that day, though.
Oh, so he knocked all the chairs down earlier, you're saying?
No, he didn't knock all the chairs down. I think the guy dragged them down when he ran. I could be wrong. No. I didn't actually.
And then did he run across the field? Did he run in the backyard?
He ran straight back, and if you look from the glass window, there's like a shed directly behind, and then to the right there's like a little thicket. He went straight to the shed, like in between the shed and the thicket, and then when he got like big bushes, there's like a little forest kind of thing. I don't know if it wouldn't be called forest, but there's like bushes and stuff where it sticks out, and then you can run around it, and that goes wherever. Never actually been over there, but
okay. It's
like bushes where it's just enough to block the view. And right when he got in between that, he ran to the right and then left.
Okay.
But I'm not like a fast person, you could say. So I'm not going to chase someone who can make it across that field before I can even get inside.
Okay.
But Jeff's account covers only a few of the disturbing happenings that had taken place in the Pleskovic home. There were many more. Jeff had reported seeing 3 masked strangers lurking in the backyard. Anna had once heard someone pulling on the handle of their back door. She'd peered behind the curtain only to be confronted by the horrifying sight of a hooded figure pressed close against the glass. Then there had been the many mysterious thefts, from cash, both small and large amounts, to a laptop, checkbook, house keys, and Melinda's car keys. The mysterious perpetrator had then repeatedly and intentionally set off her car alarm at all hours of the day and night. On one occasion, Bruce found nails hammered into the tires of his car. Melinda took to posting on Facebook about the endless and disturbing incidences. Whoever had stolen my keys was playing with the remote at 4:30 a.m. and kept starting the van at 7, she wrote. In another,
Oh my God. This poor lady. Sweetheart, you had a psychopath living in your basement who impregnated your daughter, and he was causing havoc to you and your family. Those 3 individuals that you seen hoodied up in the window and stuff, that was him and his boys. The person who stole your keys was that dude. The person who stole cash and stuff like that was that dude. The person who put nails in your tires and in your husband's tires was that dude. Like, it's clear as day that your son-in-law or your supposed to be future son-in-law was the culprit of it, especially when they said that none of this occurred until he moved into your house. This poor woman. This poor woman. This poor woman, man.
Car alarm with stolen remote again last night and found nails in Bruce's tire. And getting on a first-name basis with the Strongsville police. No other residents in the neighborhood were experiencing these problems. Clearly, someone was specifically targeting them. But who? Police could find no evidence of anyone being outside the home, nor did they have any other leads. Both Melinda and Bruce began living in constant dread of the next attack. Just days before her murder, Jeff phoned the police to report an intruder had tried to enter the house by forcing the sliding back door open. That man was able to open the door about 3 inches, but couldn't get inside the house because Jeff had deliberately placed a ball bat to block the door. It was to be the last of the strange incidences. The next call Jeff would make to police would be to report Melinda's murder. Shortly before Jeff had sat down with Strongsville police, Bruce Pleskovic was interviewed by the same detective. He had given a very different and conflicting account. Bruce explained that he had been at work when he received a mysterious text from Melinda at 4:30 p.m., saying simply, "Meet me at Brew Kettle." Brew Kettle was a local brewery the family occasionally drank and ate at.
Usually work till 4, but I work at 4:30. I work till 4:30 today. Yeah, because since I was in late, I just wanted to, at least stay a little later, show a little, and I'm not bailing, But but it was kind of weird. I was at my desk, and that's when I got the text, "Meet me at the Brew Kettle." And if you saw the statement I wrote tonight, it makes no sense that Mel doesn't meet you at Brew Kettle. Mel doesn't send texts like that. We always, our thing is we go out, since we both work, we go out to eat a lot, we meet up. But it's always about, hey, you want to go out to eat? You want to go out, or you want to eat at home? Or we go back and forth. We always take a while because we don't know what we have taste for. And you'll see the statement that I wrote. In hindsight, I realized that statement makes no sense, and I don't think she typed that to me. In hindsight of all that happened to me. That makes no sense to me.
Still, Bruce had agreed to meet her there. When she didn't show up, he messaged to say that he was going to the gym. But then he'd had a call from Anna and repeated calls from Jeff asking him to meet them at Applebee's. Bruce couldn't keep up. The plans were changing every 2 minutes. But he agreed and arrived just after 7 p.m. Jeff was already drinking and waiting with baby Aurora. Bruce asked them where everyone else was. Jeff said he didn't know. Neither Jeff or Anna had heard anything from Mel, and her phone was off. Jeff also told Bruce that he'd been locked out of the house. The garage code wasn't working. Bruce was worried. They ate their meals and left for the car park. Bruce was impatient to get home, but Jeff asked Bruce to mind Aurora while he filled his truck with gasoline.
When we left Applebee's...
You guys walked out together?
Yeah, we walked out together. And he said he grabbed he needed some gas in the truck, so he grabbed some gas from his dad's house. And he has these big 5-gallon gas guys, and it's a big orange one, and he was filling up his car. He had the door open, the baby was there, so I was just hanging out waiting with him.
Where's this at?
This was in the parking lot in front of Albee.
All right, few things I want to point out. He said that he got a strange message from his wife telling him to meet him at another place, not the Applebee's where everybody else was supposed to be meeting at. She told him to meet him at some local restaurant in the neighborhood, right? Now he's saying hindsight, he's like, that didn't make any sense to me. That didn't even sound like something that my wife would say. And if everybody's supposed to be linking up with each other, why would she say this new place and everybody is supposed to be going to Applebee's, right? I want to know, when did that text message come in? Because then I will pin back to when the son-in-law said that he was supposed to be notifying his mom to come, but apparently his mom said that she had other things to do and she wasn't going to be able to attend to see the baby. And he said he went to go do some yard work and stuff before meeting up with everybody at Applebee's. I want to know what time that happened, because then now we can also trace whether or not if did he unalive the mom or did all that stuff to the mom at that time, send the text message to the husband, he goes to the other what's the name, then time goes by, he goes meets up with everybody at Applebee's, and then they all go over together, and then they see the site of the unalive victim. I just find that very weird because, like I said, this is your wife. It seemed like this has been your wife for numerous of years. And you, even when dating or married to someone within like 2 years, 3 years, we pick up on people's mannerisms. We pick up on how people move, how they conduct themselves on a day-to-day. You know what I'm saying? We even can understand whether or not if we're actually speaking to who we're speaking with just by the tone of their messages when they send text messages with us through their phone. So I don't understand how he missed that. Like, if she never spoke to you or sent a text message like that to you ever before during your marriage, you didn't think that was quite odd, that she would send that type of message, not explaining anything else, just meet me here. Like, I just find that quite odd. I really do. So I'm not really that much in believing of him. I don't know. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe it could be both of them that was involved. Who knows? Because it seemed kind of fishy. You know what I'm saying? It really does. It really does. Let's see. That low-life baby daddy did it. The daughter, yeah. I think he and the lady got into an argument and he stabbed her. I agree. And I think, tell you the truth, here's my synopsis of this whole situation. I think that the mother was constantly on his ass about getting up and being able to take care of your responsibility and take care of her daughter and your new child. You know what I'm saying? Make an honest woman out of her daughter, marry her, get yourself together. This was the time. This is the reason why she allowed them to move into her house so they can save money, so they can purchase a home and they can start on a better foot. I think that she kept on hamping on that. Like, listen, while my daughter's pregnant and also having a newborn, she's out there working and you're sitting behind and you're not doing anything. And I think that's what led to him pretty much terrorizing her, right? With the slicing of the tires, showing up as some dark hooded figure in the what's the name, stealing things and stuff like that. I think that he was terrorizing her and he was trying to convince her that, hey, listen, this is why you need me here as this younger strappy fellow, because you got people that's terrorizing you, right? And that was also to get her off his back in reference of him not doing what he's supposed to do to his family, taking too long to get on your feet and have your home life and have everything situated for you and her daughter. And I think that an argument probably did take place. He went back, argument took place, and he ended up doing that. I do think that that's what happened. I really do. Let's see. Bruce said Jeff told them the mom-in-law decided not to come. So why didn't he tell dad that when he saw him right, exactly. He didn't even inform them that, right? He didn't inform them that. So when dad got to the Applebee's and he was like, wait a minute, I was told to go to this restaurant, but we're at Applebee's. You didn't let anybody know. I don't even know if dad even told everybody that. Did dad tell them that he went to the other restaurant prior to coming to Applebee's? I don't even know. Inquiring Minds wants to know. Inquiring Minds wants to know that. The son did it when he was supposed to be getting his mom. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, boyfriend 100% did it because it doesn't add up. It doesn't. It really don't. I just feel like the son-in-law did it. Yeah, the son. I feel definitely. I'm definitely in agreement with you guys. I think the son-in-law definitely did it. Bruce wants son. The lady's son has a disability. Yeah, no, they mean son-in-law. Yeah, they mean the son-in-law. Yeah. He just says so much to the 911. Yeah, exactly. That too, right? He was pouring out his everything to the 911 operator as if she was the detective on scene and that he was an investigator or something. I don't even think he even had a full-on conversation with the detectives on scene or the police on scene on site. Philip says, yeah, he wasn't being a man and he wanted mom out the picture because she didn't want scum. Yeah, I truly do. I truly do believe that. She was being nice, helping them. Yes, she was, Truck. She really was. Let's go on. But that's what I'm getting from it. Now, I'm more leaning towards the son-in-law, but I do understand why y'all believe that maybe the husband has something to do with it, because it doesn't make sense. Like, you know the mannerism of your wife if you've been married to her more than freaking 5 years. You know how she talks when she texts you or when she calls you and stuff like that. So for you to just meet me at, and that's something completely different out of how she actually, speaks or expresses herself to you. I find that very odd that he just went ahead with the flow with it. But let's go on.
Right in front of Applebee's. I was parked over here. He was a little bit over here. Why would he grabbed a gallon, he said he grabbed that 5-gallon gas out of his dad's garage and grabbed it to fill it up. And he filled up his gas tank. I mean, it took a while for him to sit there. It took him a while to fill it a little bit. I could smell I was kind of standing he was by the gas. The gas can's back here, the door was open. I was kind of blocking the doorway just so the air wouldn't get on the baby. The baby was in the front seat. I carried out his leftover things and put them on the front dash. And I wanted to block, I could smell the fumes coming in, so I just kind of wanted to block the fumes from going to the baby too. And it was cold, the wind was blowing, it was cold, so I blocked the door for that reason. But it was just kind of different. It was like, And so then I went back to my car.
Different how? What do you mean?
Well, I'm thinking right now, it seems like from the time I got from Brew Kettle to Walmart to there, like someone was wasting my time.
He had the strangest feeling now that someone was messing with him, sending him on a wild goose chase, first to Brew Kettle, then Applebee's, and now hanging around in a car park while Jeff filled his gas tank. Once at the house, Bruce immediately noticed Mel's red car in the driveway. The lights in the house were on, but if she was home, why wasn't she answering her phone? Kyle answered the door. Usually he was excited to see his dad, but this time he looked subdued. It took Bruce only minutes to see why. At first he thought Mel had fallen. He couldn't make sense of what he was seeing and the odd position that she was in. And then he saw the blood. The floor was awash with it.
So when you come home, you're just going into the garage. Because you don't have the key to the front door.
Yeah, a lot of times I've been hitting the code on the garage door and it opens and we leave that door unlocked usually. But once in a while somebody bolts it.
Okay, so Anna gives Jeff a key at the restaurant. You guys come home, you ride together, and why is he knocking on the door if he has the key from Anna?
Because I have a feeling the key, that's a good question. When Anna gave him the keys, was there 1 or 2? I couldn't tell what was in his hand.
Did you see him physically put a key into the door and not be able to get in?
Yeah, and it wasn't working, so that's why you banged on it. But Kyle was able to unbolt it, and he's the one who let us in the house.
Okay.
And Jeff hit the doorbell about 5 or 6 times, bing, bing, like right in front of you. It's like, relax, It's like. But then what happened right after that? I don't know. I kind of looked in the kitchen, And then I think I went back outside. You know, I'm always like, go in there, go back out, get this, go back. You know, I am always like doing something. You know, actually, no, I went back to move the baby after he yelled at Kyle to me. I remember doing that. And then, I don't know if he went back out, trying to figure out where, I'm thinking, okay, where's Mel? You know, I'm waiting for Mel to, you know, usually she'll say something, hey, you know, sometimes you'll hear, you know, she'll say something, or like maybe she's busy on something. And then that's when I noticed the one chair, one of our chairs was, Kyle's chair, which is right here in the front, was actually over here and laying down on the ground in front of the dishwasher. And that's when I walked in, and I'm like, you know, that's when I looked over to the left, and I asked her if she, you know, I asked Mel if she was, I couldn't believe the picture that happened right there. I was stunned. I
don't know. It's I feel that the dad is telling a more believable story, and I'm checking his mannerism, and he doesn't look like he's really lying. But something really stood out to me. He said that Jeff, the baby daddy, he had a key, but he proceeded to ring the doorbell 5 times, and he couldn't use the key to get in. That stood out to me. Because the simple fact is why would you ring the doorbell, right? If you have the key, the first thing you should do is just try to open up the door with the key. You don't ring the doorbell first. And it's funny how, you know, you ring the doorbell first and then you try to open up the key, and then the son with Down syndrome was the one who was able to unbolt the door. That also leads into why two things. When Jeff was first speaking with the operator, he led on with talking about people was, you know, terrorizing the family and stuff like that, showing up in hoodies at the door, you know, at the window, scaring people, theft and stuff like that. But then he was also trying to lead into that it could have been a possibility that it could have been the son with Down syndrome. A lot of things that he was saying. But yeah, you don't ring the doorbell when you have the key. I have a home. I have a whole fucking house. I don't ring my doorbell unless I don't have my key. If I know I stepped around the corner to go to the store and I left my keys at home, and my mom, she loves to lock the door because she's a city woman, even though we don't live actually in the city anymore. You know, it's a habit. We lock our doors, right? That's when I ring the doorbell. Outside of that, if I have the keys, I'm gonna literally go in my wallet or whatever, not go in my pocket, go in my purse and pull out my keys. So that really does stand out to me. But I'm looking at the father, and it seems like he's being quite honest, and it really does look like he's trying to actually remember everything that happened. But I am not going to put anything past him, because his reaction of not even trying to revive his wife. You see her on the floor, non-responsive, blood, or blood all over the floor and everything like that. And you didn't even try to do CPR or anything. I can't pass that. I really cannot pass that. I really don't. I can't pass it. It just seems very odd to me. Very, very odd to me. Bruce says if he lives there, he has a key. This guy's lying. Right. He still has no emotions. He doesn't care. Yeah, you remember, I want to give some room, some wiggle room with that, right? Because not everybody responds to trauma the same way. I want to give some wiggle room. Let's see. Psychopathico. How you doing again? Good to see you. Very emotionless. Yeah, it is kind of weird. Yeah. Caleb said, yeah, I think now he's just odd at first with how he was grieving. Everything seems to point towards the fiance did it and was trying to buy as much time as possible for her past. Yes, and that's another thing that stood out to me too, because you get a weird text to say go to this restaurant. Everybody's supposed to be at Applebee's. Mind you, the baby daddy wasn't at Applebee's. He was en route at Applebee's per se, right? And then they all got together. And then even after Applebee's, he supposedly had to go get gas somewhere around where his father's house is at. And he got gas. And then it's like he was procrastinating or trying to waste time before actually getting to the scene of the crime. He started thinking about that. But even with the father saying that now it looks like someone was wasting his time and all the stuff like that, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because maybe you could have been involved in it, and this could have been a plot for both of y'all to make it seem like a lot of time has passed before this incident occurred. You had nothing to do with it. So we got to definitely keep that with a grain of salt. Definitely. Let's see. I'm sorry, this is bullshit. It's too easy explaining and speculating after the fact that this guy is already convicted, trying to solve it. Well, if you don't want, if you don't really like it, I can understand, but it's just really just trying to dissect what is actually really going on and what we're actually seeing. It's okay if it's not your cup of tea, though. You better lock them doors. Yes, I know. Definitely. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Like, he is trying to piece it together, and now looking back, he thinks he doesn't add up either. Maybe in denial. Yeah. That's what it seems like it. Southern Belle said, I still believe the husband has a part of it. I hear you. Let's go on.
And then I noticed there's blood, and then there's blood by her face. She was face first. I thought maybe she slipped and fell. So I went this way, and I just kind of leaned down there. I didn't know what to do, and I'm looking, and I said, "Mel, are you okay?" I wanted to hold her, but then I'm realizing there's chunk. There's a puddle here. There's a puddle right here, face down. And I thought, that's when I realized, And then I saw her back, and there was chunks. I asked her if she was okay. I wanted to say, hey, Mel, are you okay? Mel, I just realized someone did something to her. I thought maybe she took some, she has medication, she had to take some stuff. And maybe she had, because she always has a lot of medication, maybe she lost her balance and just fell down, and then that's when I realized I wanted to hold her or do something, but what do you do?
Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate that.
I'm not a
I think
CPA.
it's fun too, even if
it's
already been a conviction.
Jeff was immediately on this 9/11 call. Boom, he made the first call, and he was outside. I think I just got up and ran out. I called myself, and
you said you told Jeff to call 911?
Yeah, I yelled. I started yelling, yeah.
When asked who he thought could do such a heinous act, Bruce could think of no one. Certainly not a family member, he said. Yet, the more he talked, the more Jeff's name cropped up.
He'll burn bridges, and he has a history of burning bridges with some people. I don't know about this, but you find it. I know him enough to know. You hear it, and I just kind of, yeah, whatever. He says things, he gets in people's personal lives and situations. He always have his opinion and comment. He kind of crosses the line, goes in deeper. So he was doing that with me and Mel, and it's like he's texting her a lot and me a lot, just, really weird.
Saying what?
There's some texts that I had to delete.
What kind of text would you have to delete?
Well, he would get into it with Mel about, I don't know, about teaching. Mel's a teacher. And he's always talking. The thing is, he's always domineering and he'll go along, but then he'll butt heads with you, and he'll say this and that. Well, he was up at the 4th of July. He was always talking, just getting really angry with every,
Hey, Sophia,
in his conversations.
it's good to see you. How are you this Friday?
Just very, high energy. I mean, more so than usual. And then I found out, like, my sister, he never met my sisters. They were up there, and he's talking about in college and getting laid, picking up a girl, and it's like, Mark, what are you doing this? Oh, I thought she was cool. It's like, Mark, just don't bring that kind of stuff up. So anytime I do something, if I say something like that, he gets, I think after a while he thinks about it, and then he takes it the wrong way. Then the friendship started just going, we were hanging around too often, too much, and it was just, and then he sends these texts on purpose to people. I'm going to mess with this guy. He does this a lot. He's doing that to Mel, and then he sends them to me.
What was he saying to Mel?
Well, the last ones was something about when he was really mad, when we kind of just were done and it was getting worse. Just calling her a liberal, like, you're a Libby, and like sending these rapid fire texts that are very short. And then he's sending me stuff too about, he says, he'll say something like, fine donuts.
No, I'm not
just bizarre and weird. And one of them was, I'm jacking off. I deleted all this crap. But if you have to pull it back out, it's like, after that, I was just like, me and Mel had an agreement, let's just kind of avoid him and just not, then time would go by, and then he'd come back and want to hang out or just start messing, sending stuff. And it's like, that's when we had to say, just Mel had to tell him, don't delete she deleted his contacts, everything.
Bruce was adamant that Jeff wouldn't have hurt his wife. And yet, there were those niggling things he couldn't explain, and that had eaten away at him for months. Jeff was the kind of guy who was all talk, Bruce said. He made
So this is the reason why I'm going to take everything with a grain of salt, right? Because it can play out in two different ways. He can be coming into realization, Bruce, the husband, he can be coming into realization about all the little minor things that was happening while Jeff was living in their house, even to the dynamics of their relationship. And he could think about that now because, it's kind of important, right? But then you can also look at it from another standpoint, as is he now trying to pin this on Jeff? Do he feel that he can be a prime suspect to the unaliving of his wife, especially him saying that he doesn't know anyone that will want to hurt his wife? It seemed like they live a very normal, type of family structure, right? Deal with the kids, go to work. Sometimes on the weekends, they go out and have a family dinner. So very, very normal situation. So it could be looked like that by him saying, well, yeah, I know that Jeff been doing this and Jeff was doing that. And Jeff got in a big argument with my wife before, and he would send these type of bogus type of text messages. He would be very involved in conversations about what we're doing or what he thinks that our daughter should be doing and stuff like that. He seemed a little intrusive. You could take it both ways. And this is why we have to have an open mind when we are looking at these type of cases. And this is what the detectives do. This is why the detectives sit back and they just allow whoever wants to spill their guts to spill their guts. And the ones who don't want to spill their guts, they try to basically help them break down that wall to give them more evidence, because it can be something completely different. He could be trying to pin it on his daughter, his son-in-law, and the son-in-law can, it doesn't seem like the son-in-law is trying to say that the father did it. The son-in-law is trying to angle it as it had to be some outside intruders that they've been dealing with for months, or possibly the Down syndrome son. But the father, him thinking about all the other little text messages and disagreements and stuff that they had prior to this, is kind of weary how Jeff, Jeff, he's involved. He has a key. He all of a sudden had to make this quick stop to get gas, and he took a sweet time getting his gas and stuff like that. So that's why we have to definitely keep an open mind. We have to keep an open mind, even when our senses are saying this is the person that did it. Sometimes it's not really, it might not be that, it might not be the case. Let's see. What's going on? Flower said I'm going to have to, oh, don't worry, Flower. It's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, it's all right, Flower. You have to do what you have to do, darling. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Conspiritual. Thank you. Yeah, he should, yeah. Caleb said that's true. To try and cover his tracks, more causes the B call with the dispatch was still yeah, exactly. That's why I'm keeping it with a grain of salt, because the way that he was acting with the call to the operator and how he was explaining himself, like he was trying to pull out his soul and blaming the police department and everything like that. But then I want to know, where's the records? If y'all was being attacked and people was coming up to your house and stealing stuff, there should be reports of that, right? If there ain't no reports of all that stuff going on, but you're saying that the police department dropped the ball, I'm gonna be a little concerned about that. I really am. Let's see. This one has been fun, twists and turns. I love it. Yeah. It's between them. It's like, it really. Let's see. Like he was building his defense before he would. Yes, exactly. Flower. Diabolical. Yes. Report. Spoiler alert. He really did. Spoiler alert. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We had the inkling that it was the son-in-law anyway. A lot of things was pointing in his direction. Good to see you. Let's go on.
Promises he never kept, and his stories were always changing. He said he was buying a house with cash from his grandparents, but couldn't show any paperwork. But there were other things that bothered Bruce and Melinda too. Melinda had taken a job of helping Anna arrange the wedding. Jeff only had to deal with the venue and his own invitations, but there was no evidence that Jeff had sent out any invitations. A week prior, the venue had contacted Mel to tell her that Jeff's card had been refused 14 times. They would lose the venue if payment wasn't received by the next day. Mel contacted Jeff, but as luck would have it, he'd been in a car wreck and was in the hospital. Mel had paid the venue. For the past 18 months, Mel and Jeff had butted heads, but now it was constant. Both Mel and Bruce found it odd that the strange incidences began not long after Jeff had moved in. Many times, Jeff had been the only one to see the intruder. They'd also had a weird vibe about Jeff's family, who seemed to be holding them at arm's length. Mel and Bruce had hoped to become friendly with the Scullins, but it was clear they didn't share the same sentiment. At one point, Jeff confessed to Bruce that his father didn't like Mel. Couldn't stand her, in fact. Bruce was shocked. She hardly knew the man. Still, in the days before the wedding, they'd tried again to organize a dinner for the two families. Jeff's parents had turned down the invite. Oddly enough, on October 23rd, Jeff had told Mel that his mom wanted to take the family out to dinner to reimburse Bruce and Mel for the $6,500 they had paid for the wedding venue. But just hours later, the plans changed again. Jeff's mom wanted to meet just Mel. None of it made any sense, said Bruce, and yet somehow it did. Everything was filtered through Jeff. It was Jeff who made the dinner plans that never came off. Jeff who had passed on that his father hated Mel. Jeff who saw most of the prowlers. The person who had cottoned on to most of this had been Mel. She treated Jeff like a son, but had been deeply concerned about his behavior. Something in her gut was telling her that something was very seriously wrong, but her mind could hardly bear to go there. Melinda Pleskovic's funeral took place on October 28, 2017. That was the date that her daughter had been due to wed her high school sweetheart, Jeffrey Scullin. Instead of acting as a groom, Jeff now served as a pallbearer for Melinda. Melinda's husband Bruce was distraught, as were the 3 children, including Megan and Kyle. Kyle was not yet able to comprehend that his beloved and devoted mother had died. He'd spent her funeral looking hopefully out the window, waiting for her to arrive. Melinda's death prompted an outpouring of grief within the Strongsville community. Melinda had been a much-loved middle school teacher at Strongsville Middle School for 27 years and a coach for multiple soccer teams. She had been a mentor, a role model, and an inspiration, someone with a contagious laugh and an indomitable spirit. Former students had stayed in touch with her for years after being in her class or on her teams. Her children and husband depended on her as the rock of the family. Now, a broken and distraught family and community gathered at the St. Paul Lutheran Church to pay their final respects to the woman who had brought so much to their lives and their town. In the days following Melinda's murder, the Pleskovic family had camped out together on the floor of one room in the house. The loss and horror was overwhelming. Worse still, they had no answers. Family and friends wondered if Melinda had been killed after interrupting one of the strange intruders who had terrorized them. Jeff suggested downloading apps to their phones so they could keep track of each other's whereabouts. After all, if there was a murderer on the loose, who knew which one of them could be next? Meanwhile, a picture was emerging for detectives, and it was not one that any of the family had seen coming.
4:30, 6 o'clock. I can't do it all.
So even though we know who did it, right? I was leading towards the son-in-law anyway, especially with the new information. Like I had a hint that there was a disagreement. Also did Bruce. Bruce said it in the chat earlier that there must have been a disagreement, or I think it was Bruce and Caleb said in the chat there must have been a disagreement and he unalived her. But now we kind of know what the motive was. He didn't have any of the money for the venue for this wedding. He was trying to use his credit card that he had already maxed out 14 times and they didn't get any payment. And the venue ended up reaching out to the mom and letting her know that they weren't paid. And here's this weddings that's supposed to kick off in about a couple of days and it wasn't paid. So that would make perfect sense as into, why he would think that he had to shut her up or not expose that he didn't have the money for the venue. He didn't take care of anything that he said he was going to take care of. And and he didn't want the mom to tell the husband or definitely tell his wife to be, right? That everything that he said that he was going to do, he did not do. And then there was a reason why he told his mother of his child's parents that his parents didn't like him, like her, is because he was hiding the fact that if his parents get in close vicinity of her parents or actually start, explaining their troubles and issues with him, because you got to also keep that in mind that we didn't talk about in the beginning. If you are let's say a down and out, adult, right? If your parents have the ability to help you out, why wouldn't you move your family or your newfound family into your parents' house? Why did you have to go live with your mother of your child parents? To me, that kind of reads that you don't have that close relationship with your parents anymore, or you probably destroyed that type of relationship with your parents anymore. There's a reason why that you cannot ask for them for help or an assistance. And he wanted to actually make sure that that information never got out either. I don't even think that his parents even knew about Mel. I don't think his parents even knew about Mel, knew about the baby that they had together. I don't think they knew anything. I don't think he had actually any relations with his family at all. They didn't know anything. I think that him even lying and saying that the mother was going to come to the dinner because she wants to meet Mel personally, I think that was all a lie. That was all a lie. He ain't never reached out to the mom and asked her anything. So it was kind of like, to me, it's kind of like he was intending to, cause harm. Like, if you keep on bringing it up, like, what's going on with your parents? Are they involved? Or do they know what's going on? Do they know that you're marrying my daughter? I would like to know them. I would like to know who your peoples are, right? Mel's parents ain't doing nothing wrong. It's their right as their parents to know who is going to be their extended family. I want an idea of who who's going to be associated with us. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like they was doing anything wrong. But I think that he lied about the whole thing. I think he lied about his mom actually ever even going to meet them. I don't think they even know anything about him or know anything about her or her family. This is crazy. It really, really is crazy. That's sad, man. It's really, really sad. Let's see. Oh no, I'm off. I'm off today and I am going to rest. I'm definitely going to rest. Yes. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Let's go on.
6. No, you didn't. You were late. You texted your aunt. Just if this jogs your memory, you texted your aunt at 5 o'clock. You hadn't left yet. So you couldn't have left at 3 o'clock if you're telling me. Or shortly after 3. Because you were getting Aurora ready. Okay? I texted you something that was on. But that's the beauty of technology and phones and surveillance cameras, because it doesn't lie. So I don't expect you to remember things in the minute. But the phones, the camera, I don't need to ask.
So I want y'all to see. What did I say? You remember that empty chair? It's not empty anymore. Who's there? A nice little bald-headed detective right there. A nice little bald-headed detective is there. Now it is 2 people in there. Do you know why? Because now they started to pin things together, and now they starting to have a suspect. So this is no longer an interview. This is, we have evidence and we are thinking about putting charges on you, and we would like you to tell us what you know or even confess. Let's go on.
Exactly timestamp. So you're not even at your aunt's house before 5. She says you don't even.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
And then by the time you left, you don't even have time to go back home. In fact, Applebee's.
Hi, Martin. It's good to see you. I'm well. Thank you so much. Hope everything's good with you.
Where am I with this? You probably did say that I did it, right? Jeff, you're telling me something happened that didn't happen. Don't sit there and try to jog your memory. It didn't happen. Do you know what time Melinda really got home that day? Because it wasn't at 3 like you said. It's when she got home. I don't know. Well, let me just tell you this. It was much later than what you're telling me. Melinda doesn't come home when you say she comes home. What time did she get home? Doesn't matter. It's much later than what you're telling me. So your whole... Remember when we first talked? I questioned you, you looked a little irritated about how long, and even at that point, right, I didn't know as much as I know now, and you said you left at 3. When I came home, you left right away. You said you did your hands until 4:30, and even I questioned, I said, it's an awfully long time from Blazing Star to Abigail is roughly, what, how many miles? 4, 5. So I questioned it. You seemed aggravated that I even questioned it. I said, it's an awfully long time to get from point A to B, run out of gas, when someone came and helped you 20, 30 minutes after you broke down. So now, not only this hour and a half becomes 3 hours. 3 hours from when you told me you left. And by the time you get to your dance, so what happens in that time frame?
And that's when she came home. When she walked in the door, I walked out.
Jeff.
Now he's trying to play stupid. Now it's the deer in the headlights moment. You were so adamant the first interview. You was like, oh, this and this and this happened at 3 p.m. and I went here at this time and all the stuff like that. And then now when he pins things together and it doesn't make sense, because if you was only a 30-minute I guess ride out, why did it take you 3 hours to actually link up to go to the Applebee's when you said that you, quote unquote, your car broke down? So you mean if your car broke down or you ran out of gas, you did that even before you actually linked up with the father after the whole Applebee's situation, because you was worried why Mel wasn't answering her phone. Why did you need to go get gas again? And here now he's sitting up here like this. I just came home. I just came home. Now you want to act silly. Boy, the deer in the headlights ain't gonna work. Just being quiet and letting it, letting the words, that the detective's saying to you simmer in the room is not going it's not going to help you out at this point. This is crazy. Wow. Because you just see the drastic change. He was so, this happened and adamant and all the stuff like that. And then now they're like, your story don't plan out. And when we seen when Mel got home or Melinda got home, it wasn't what you said it was. And then we pinpoint when you said that you was at this spot and this spot and this spot. And we actually located and went on MapQuest or did a Google search and found out how long it was from point A to point B. It doesn't match why it took you 3 hours. Now we get this. And the bad thing about it is he doesn't know that all this now turns into first-degree murder. This turns out to be planned. You planned it. You not only did you plan to kill this woman, you also planned to hide it and cover it up. You planned to make it seem like it was her Down syndrome son who did it, or these imaginary threatening people that did it. What a fucking idiot. Excuse my language, but let's go on.
Judge, I'm stopping the video. Needs to be recording at 1 hour and 27 minutes.
Only the video separation will be maintained.
Yes, that will in fact be maintained. I'm sure that the state understands that. All right, thank you, Detective. You can step down.
All right, please.
I didn't know I was, what's the name? Sorry.
Police took to unpacking the life and lies of Jeff Scullin. From his movements on the day of the murder to his outlandish claims, on the small things, Bruce's gut instinct had been spot on. There was no house being purchased. His parents had been out of the loop on invitations from the Pleskovics for years. His mother had never heard about any dinner with Mel, and his father had never mentioned disliking
Didn't
her.
I tell you?
As for the strange incidences,
God.
police soon had solid reasons to believe that they had been entirely staged.
That is wicked. Didn't I say that? I just said that. I said his mother didn't know nothing about Mel. She ain't know nothing about no Mel, no dinner, no family, no baby. Didn't I say that? I said it. I said it. No, they didn't know anything. I absolutely said it. And wow, I was proven right. Look at that. Go figure, right? But, let everybody know, let other people tell it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But hey, it is what it is. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Staged by Jeff, from the intruders to the turning on and off of Mel's car alarm. At times, he'd falsely claimed to see someone. Other times, been the masked man himself, or found drifters looking for cash to do it for him. As for Mel's murder, it was diabolical, and yet every piece of evidence pointed directly to his guilt. His timeline of events at the time of Mel's death had been false. He'd never been at his aunt's house, or his father's at the times he had indicated. A search of Jeff's car uncovered the final proof, a large tactical knife hidden inside Scullin's pickup truck. The blood on the blade was Mel's. The DNA on the handle belonged to Jeff. They also found blood stains around the passenger's door and track pants with traces of blood. Scullin had murdered Mel before meeting Bruce for dinner while his wife's body lay slain in
I
their
got
home.
it. Thank you.
20-year-old Jeffrey Scullin is charged with aggravated murder in the death of his fiancee's 49-year-old mother, Melinda Pleskovic, in their Strongsville home. The wedding was set just days after Pleskovic was shot and stabbed to death in her kitchen. Instead, Scullin was a pallbearer at his soon-to-be mother-in-law's funeral.
You have to wonder if Melinda found something out that was going to stop the wedding, is what I wonder.
Didn't I tell you? I told you.
And I think
Wow.
it's really sick that he was a pallbearer.
Just days before the murder, Scullin, who lives in his soon-to-be in-laws home on Blazing Star Drive, called 911 to say someone tried to break in the back door.
Okay, what's your emergency?
Someone just tried to walk into my house.
Okay, what did they look like?
I didn't really see him. I saw a blue hoodie.
This whole case has Strongsville resident Daniel Stevenson, who knows the
Crazy
family
work.
well, wanting to know what the motive was for the gruesome murder.
But you just have to wonder what was going on beforehand.
I told
What
you to
triggered
the
it?
motive
I mean,
was.
with such rage. Like, did she find something out? Was he doing something?
This is
that
Scullin
he
being
ain't
questioned
paid for that
inside the house
venue.
the night of the murder, then being placed in a police car. And there's this, the couple's wedding registry for a wedding that now never happened.
Police brought Jeff in for a third interview and polygraph test. He failed the polygraph,
Of course
and
he
after a 6-hour interview, confessed, or half confessed. Mel had discovered his gun in the basement, he said, along with a recent paternity test for their daughter Aurora taken after Jeff had accused Anna of cheating on him. Mel had flown into a rage. She'd taken the gun upstairs, he said, and had been pointing it roughly in his direction. In self-defense, he snatched it off and fired 3 times, in full view of her son Kyle. He didn't remember stabbing her 35 times. He offered no.
What a goofy dude. How dare you? You really want them to believe that Mel was going to, the mom, she was going to shoot you because you took a paternity test on your child to see whether or not if you was actually her father because you thought that her daughter cheated on you? Do that make any sense? Why would she want to shoot you for doing that, for taking a paternity test? In fact, it would be better if she knows that you're not, if you find out that you're not the father, you and her daughter figure this out, whether you're going to still be together or not. And if not, then you can get the hell about her goddamn house being a lazy ass bum and not helping contribute to the household, right? That would be a benefit for her. She would not shoot you because you took a paternity test. And he really thought that that was going to stick. Like, that's insane that he thought that that was going to stick. Because he was trying so hard at this point to make himself seem like he's some way a victim. Sir, you're not a victim, okay? These people treated you good. They literally took you into their home and you wasn't paying not a goddamn dime, not a bill. You had your own pregnant girlfriend, their daughter, out there working at a fucking neighborhood Applebee's to the point where until she gave birth and still went out and worked afterwards, where you have not even gotten a job yet. And the whole point was that you and her daughter was supposed to get y'all shit together so y'all can move into your own place with your own child and start fresh, foundational. Something truly blessing, right? Because parents don't have to do that. And I don't understand how many times I have to say it. There is nothing in any form of rule book that parents is supposed to bring you or your significant other into their household and let you get a footing in life. They don't have to do that. There's nothing in the rule book that says that. If you lay down and you fucking, excuse my language again for the ones who hate when I curse, but if you fucking or you smashing like an adult and a baby comes, then guess what? It's time to play an adult 24/7. It's not time to run and now act like you're an immature half semi-adult. Like, this is just crazy to me. Like, insane. What it was, you knew that she found out that you didn't pay that venue. They called her because she was a secondary person to pay the venue. They was going to help out on what y'all wasn't able to save up. Her parents, your baby mama parents, was willing to help support what y'all couldn't pay. And that's why she was a secondary name. And then they called her like, yo, this dude keep on using this bum burnt out credit card that has no money on it. And he used it 14 times and it declined. And the wedding is supposed to happen in a couple of days. We need a payment or we're going to have to give the venue to someone else. And you was mad that she confronted you about that because all the big talk that you was talking to them about you big man on campus and you have everything figured out and all the stuff like that. And you was also intrusive and involved in grown adults who've been living life longer than you, trying to tell them what to do via text messages and stuff like that. She's like, wait a minute, how do you have everything all together? But you don't even have your venue together. And if you was having problems paying the venue, you should have let us know. But don't sit up here and leave with this facade that you have everything together and you don't. And within a fit of rage, a fit of embarrassment, and you unalive this woman in a gruesome way. And then now the talk about you have amnesia and you don't know that you stabbed her 35 times. So you're trying to say that you blacked out. But obviously you admitted that you shot her twice and then you stabbed her afterwards. So again, she wasn't a threat. She wasn't a threat to you at all. But you're like, I just can't believe, like, that's some sad shit to sit up there and try to now paint this woman in death as some aggressive, overbearing mother-in-law who literally came at you because she says, how dare you? I'm going to shoot you. How dare you say that my daughter is a whore and she cheated on you and that baby's not yours? Like, give me a break, guy. Like, stop. Stop. Dude was a bum and a straight leech. Yes, he was. It would have been a MoMA best interest to have it. Yes, thank you. It was. It would have been. Yes. This dude is a whole shit bag. He sure is. He absolutely is. Truck said the parents would have kept helping the new married couple. They would never put their new. Yeah, that's another thing too. That's the kicker, right? I mean, they literally allowed you to stay in their home before the baby was born. They were never going to kick the daughter or the baby out. That's not going to happen. Now, you being a whole ass bum, that's different. But then again, that ain't your parents though, right? So they don't have to do that. Let's see. We as the MJ community needs to start sleuthing unsolved cases and see if we can solve them. Yes. Good job. Good job. I like that. I like that. I like that. Let's see. Yeah, that would be fun. I do. I think that would be good. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got my thinkers. I got my thinkers in here, right? I got my thinkers in here. So I think that would be awesome. Yes, 30 stabbing times staying someone means it was on a personal level. Absolutely. Let's finish this up, guy, and I'll let y'all good folks go for the rest of y'all Friday.
Further motive for the crime.
I reached up and just kind of snatched it from her. She was like holding it. I grabbed it. When I was pulling it away from her, it kind of just went off. And after that, that's where it was like, I don't really exactly understand what happened. Everything's all like blurry. I don't know. It's kind of just like I lost control, I think.
On the 31st of October, it was announced that Jeffrey Scullin Jr. had been arrested and charged with the murder of his future mother-in-law, Melinda Pleskovic. A grand jury would also indict Scullin on charges of felonious assault, tampering with evidence, and making false claims. Prosecutors argued that Scullin had a history of disagreeing with Melinda and had planned the murder for many months, part of which had included concocting the phony break-ins. Jeff pleaded guilty, but with a caveat. He wasn't actually guilty, his lawyers said. He just wanted to spare the family, as in himself, the trauma of a trial and all the damning information that would come out about the family, as in himself. Scullin was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 33 years. Before the sentence was read out, Anna Pleskovic, who narrowly escaped marrying Scullin, provided a victim impact statement.
Correct.
She said, Jeffrey Scullin should never be allowed to walk free again. He is a manipulator, a pathological liar, a thief, a sociopath, and above all else, a sadistic murderer. He shows no remorse and deserves to spend his days away from the innocent.
Good morning.
My name is Anna Pleskovic. This is kind of addressed to you. My point is, Jeffrey Scullin should never be allowed to walk free again. The extent of his monstrous actions has forever crippled the lives of everyone he knows. My mother, Melinda, will never be coming back, and that egotistical boy had absolutely no reason or right to rip her away from us. I say boy and not man, because a man doesn't harm his loved ones. A man owns his actions and decisions without hiding behind lies. A man supports his family and would do anything for his children. Jeff has done none of these things. Because of his heinous crimes, my brother lost the best mother a child with Down syndrome could possibly have. My father lost his best friend and soulmate. My sister and I no longer have our smart, beautiful, and respectable role model mother to guide us. And my daughter, Aurora, lost her cherished Grammy. The worst part is that someday I will have to sit her down and explain this horrifying nightmare to her. I'll have to find a reason as to why her father chose incarceration and lies instead of his baby girl. And to be honest, I have no idea where to even begin. Jeffrey needs to never have the option to inflict this pain on another human being again, because he most definitely will kill again. He is a manipulator, a pathological liar,
Yes.
a thief,
Absolutely.
a sociopath, and above all, a sadistic murderer. He shows no remorse and deserves to spend his days away from the innocent. Sincerely, myself, Melinda's daughter, and his ex-fiance.
I'm Megan Pleskovic. I'm EGAN, PLEXPLBIC. Your Honor, our lives will never be the same because of Jeffrey Scullin. My mom was the face of compassion, love, perseverance, and because of him, she is gone. My mom faced countless numbers of setbacks and negative situations, but she always found a way to get through them and do so in a positive and enthusiastic manner. My mom is a fantastic mother, both loving and tough. As I got older, she quickly turned into my best friend. We would talk about everything under the sun, and I think one of the hardest parts now is not being able to call or hug her after something great or something horrible happens. She taught me to be passionate about things I believe in, to be non-judgmental, and to always stick up for myself and others around me. She was my biggest fan, and I grew up being hers. My last collegiate softball game, she drove 5 hours to support me, and after the game, she was the first person I cried to behind the dugout. She loved all of his kids and her granddaughter with all her heart. As for Jeffrey Scullin, my mom and dad opened their home to him because they're good, loyal people. My mom cared for him as a part of our family and bent over backwards for him, yet he took her life in one of the most violent ways imaginable. I wanted to feel the terror and pain that my mom must have experienced, but because of his lack of remorse and sick, twisted mind, I don't think he ever will. Nor do I think he cares about the grief and pain that his own family, his daughter, or the rest of us feel. He is a selfish, sadistic monster that deserves to never again see the light of day. He manipulated my entire family into thinking he could be trusted, all while he stole from us and plotted the unthinkable. He took away my dad's wife, my siblings, my mom, and his daughter's Grammy. He took away a life that gave nothing but goodness for reasons that we will probably never know. No punishment will ever bring back the incredible human being that my mom was, but knowing that Jeffrey Scullin will spend the rest of his pathetic life in prison would bring relief to all of us. Thank you.
Good morning.
Drag that man!
BRUCEPLESKOVIC. In January of 2017, on Melinda's birthday, we were all sitting in the family room, and Anna and Jeff had an announcement that we would be grandparents. It was a bit of a shock, and we were taken by surprise, but we were also excited about the arrival of our first granddaughter. We wanted to help Jeff and Anna out as best as we could, so we offered to let them live in the basement so they could work and save up money for the next year or so. We allowed them to live rent-free and helped with raising the baby as well, since we had experience raising 3 of our own. This would help them in the transition when they got married and moved out. We had a loving, caring, and normal household, and we took Jeff in as one of our own. Later in the year, we had 3 instances where money would go missing. That was car keys.
Fire in her heart right now.
Then the reported burglaries that we learned
If
after
she
the fact.
would have had ability
Over the past
in her
year, it
face,
has
she would
been very
jump over there
difficult
and
for me to
literally stab
keep
him
up with
as many
our
times as
circle of
he
friends as
stabbed
much
her
as
mom.
It has helped with the emptiness, loneliness, depression, and the hurt with the loss of mom. I can sense the pain, shock, and anger on all their faces when I see them. But when we get together, we make the best of it, have fun, rehashing the memories and stories of them. Now that I've seen the interviews with the detectives and the overwhelming evidence, Jeff's continuation of maintaining his innocence doesn't allow our family to heal and receive closure. He never provided a reason why or accepted responsibilities for his actions leading up to the night of Melinda's horrific murder. Jeff also seems to portray himself as a victim in all this when he's the one who has caused all the pain and suffering. I find it really insulting. The week after Melinda was killed, through his time of arrest, he calmly carried on as if nothing seemed to have happened.
She out for blood. Look at her face. Ain't no love, bubbly, nothing going on right now. She ready for war right now.
Past involving firearms, between situations, and Melinda's seemingly planned murder. I truly believe Jeff would kill again and ruin innocent people's lives like ours. I'm asking the court for justice and a verdict that reflects the unending pain and suffering he has caused my family and all the people who knew and loved her dearly. Thank you. Yes.
The victim, Melinda Pleskovic, just 49 years old, was savagely murdered by you, Mr. Scullin, in the kitchen of her home, which she had generously made your home. You shot her 3 times and stabbed her a minimum of 35 times. You did so while her son, Kyle, who has Down syndrome, must have been or was in the home. You did so with your own daughter and her granddaughter, Aurora, close by. Then you had the audacity to sit down for dinner with her husband, Bruce, at Applebee's, where their daughter, Anna, worked. Then you returned to the scene of your vicious crime and allowed Bruce to go into the home that he shared with his wife and children and find his wife on the kitchen floor in a pool of blood. You served as a pallbearer at Melinda Pleskovic's funeral, knowing that you were the person responsible for inflicting upon her loved ones and many friends all of the pain, shock, sorrow, and heartache they were experiencing and continue to experience a year after you murdered her. I did receive 51 victim impact statements, to include those from her husband, her 2 daughters, sister, brother, nephew, colleagues, friends, soccer friends, and students' parents. I read each and every one of those letters, and the words used to describe Mel include, and I've taken these directly from those letters: awesome teacher, amazing friend, the rock that held her family together. There is no more serious offense than what you committed upon what has only been described as a wonderful wife, mother, friend, colleague. For legal reasons, you pled no contest. Of course, that's hurt the family because there's no true acknowledgement or remorse that you've displayed at this point in time. But again, I understand that you have legal rights and are reserving those rights. So I cannot, by law, technically hold that against you at this juncture. But again, based upon the letters that I've read, you've not shown any remorse to anyone throughout this process. And again, as explained to me in those letters, Mel's family and friends who had the opportunity to speak with you and watch you in the days following her murder, to include at her funeral, find your actions and attitude after you murdered her to be incomprehensible and abhorrent. And what I think so tragic is that Mel's son Kyle does not understand where she is and continues to look for his mom every day. That is so sad. And you did that. Therefore, on the aggravated murder count 1 that you pled guilty to, the court imposes a sentence of life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years. The 3-year firearm specification, or the 3 years for that firearm specification, must be served prior to and consecutive to that term, meaning that you will not be eligible for parole until you have served 33 years. With regard to count 5, tampering with evidence, that's the felony of the 3rd degree. The court is imposing a prison term of 36 months on that count. With regard to count 6, making false alarms, the misdemeanor of the 1st degree, the court is imposing a period of local incarceration of 180 days. And with regard to count 7, endangering children, again a misdemeanor of the 1st degree, the court's imposing a period of local incarceration of 180 days.
Several weeks after her death, the Strongsville women's varsity team created a soccer tournament on Kelly's Island called the Mel Cup, after Melinda Pleskovic. Over the weeks that followed, another initiative began, a movement for random acts of kindness with the hashtag #It'sOnMel. For all those who loved her, random acts of kindness embodied the spirit of Melinda. She gave everything of herself and asked nothing in return. If you found this case compelling, don't forget to like the video. Comment down below your take on it
Yes, please go to subscribe to that channel. That was Beyond Evil. I love their video essays. This one was a very sad one. You're right. This guy was completely diabolical, and he didn't have no remorse. Even to the bitter end, he had no more remorse of what he did. He had this stink ass screw face sitting up there like he didn't care. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know how you can possibly do that. I don't even know how you even thought that you was going to continue on having this relationship with this woman, the mother of your child and everything, after you literally slaughter her mother that way. And then to have the audacity to sit around the whole family, go to dinner, knowing that she's laying on the floor in that type of state, knowing that you did that in front of her son who's suffering from Down syndrome. Just because he has Down syndrome, that doesn't mean that he doesn't necessarily know what happened to his mom. You traumatized this boy, and this boy can't even speak to anybody to actually get the actual treatment about seeing his mom being slain that way and lying there down in the kitchen that way. Like, you are diabolical. Like, that's like literally the perfect word to describe this man. No care in the world, no consideration. This woman was an amazing teacher. She was well loved by her educational community. She was well loved by her actual community that she resided. And you did all that what? Because you wanted to be a bum. Because you wanted to be a bum and you wanted to still have access to their home, access to the free meals, laying up in the couch in the basement, acting like big doll, and also being able to smash their daughter under their house. This is what you wanted to do, right? And you really thought that that was going to play out. It's really sad. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting not to have no remorse and anything like that. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Prayers to that woman. The community lost a great person. You don't really have that. There's not that many people who are selfless like that. And they're not selfless because it's the right thing to do. They're selfless because it actually brings them joy, right? Because we have a lot of people who do selfless things and they complain about it. They complain that they're doing selfless things. They're not really happy. They're doing it because they think that the result is that everybody's going to give them a good pat on their shoulder and they seek outside validation. But this woman, it seemed like it brought her actual genuine joy to do for others. And that's why she did it. And you don't find that many people like that anymore who moves like that. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. Let's see. I want to read y'all comments before I bid y'all farewell. Conspirator said he was out for himself. I don't even think his own parents wanted any. No, they didn't. And that's what he was hiding. He was definitely hiding that. They didn't want anything to do with him. The grandchild will never get to enjoy a loving relationship with their grandmother. Absolutely. Yeah. It's really sad. Really, really sad. Someone finally told him, no, you're going to get a job and be productive. And he didn't like it. That's true. That's definitely true. I completely agree. Well, my dear folks, I want to say thank y'all so much for rocking out with me. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world. Y'all are anywhere in the world, but you rocked out with me for a couple of hours, and I truly, truly appreciate it. Make sure you're hitting the like button as you're going on with the rest of your night. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, whether you're young to old. Happy Mother's Day. Shout out to you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your moments with your children. And, we got to love the moms, right? And we definitely have to love the dads too. But right now we celebrating the moms. So shout out us to the moms as myself. I got my little present. I got my present from my son. So I'm really happy to open it up on Sunday. So I'm going to enjoy that. But y'all have a great, lovely, lovely weekend. I will not be back on Sunday, Mother's Day. It's not going to happen, right? I'm going to enjoy my day. I even have to go to work. So I'm going to enjoy part of my day to celebrate Mother's Day. But I will be back on Monday. Monday, I'll be back with more cases. I wrote down the 2 cases. I have a Senator Linda Collins case. She was the former Arkansas state senator. So I'm going to be researching that and we'll present it. And then also the Shanna Goyer case. I'm going to look into that. So those 2 are on the docket. I should have some information and stuff on Monday so we can review those cases. So shout out to the ones who gave me those cases to review. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. But as always, guys, y'all have a lovely night. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Be safe out in these streets. And I will talk to you later.